Oh, chat. Okay, there we are. Finally, we got it to go. We got it to go. With a typical stumbling start for the REMINGTOM pod, make no mistake. It is what it is. We'll be here for a minute, chat. The week 8 is underway for the NFL. And, there's been a lot of talk about ratings and the battle of the sports going at each other. Who's going to, we know the NFL is the number one, but some of those other sports and then how to navigate all that other stuff, how to schedule around it. But, shout out to the NFL for giving the NBA a real bad week here to start. The NBA season is getting underway. The first Sunday of regular season hoops is here for the NBA season. So the NFL is just like that early slate for week 8. We're just going to make sure that nothing happens to steal the storylines, and there's just absolutely no entertaining football to speak of. Chat, yikes, it's a tough one out there for the week 8 slate. But at least in terms of an entertainment value, Broncos versus Cowboys is already more exciting than basically any game. Shout out to Bengals Jets as you see the score for that game. The drama factor for that game was a little crazy, but I wouldn't necessarily say it was still, a riveting game in some ways. It's still like a movie with like the cast. You're like, wait, who is this cast? Like, it's a good scene, but I don't really know who these people are. So, shout out. And I guess we do know the characters at this point, Fields and Flacco and some of the guys. But still, I wouldn't say it does hit necessarily some of the entertainment value checkpoint. And just, I guess, those teams being sort of out of the mix as well, too, of competitive teams. At this point, we're starting to get in the halfway mark of the season where there is that separating factor for those teams. But Broncos-Cowboys is going to be good. Not looking too hot for the Broncos, though, to start. A Bo Nix pick and then an injury as well, too. Oh, and it's Surtain, chat. Hey, I didn't realize it's Surtain. Wait, we got a replay here on the red zone. Okay, it's not a Skatteboohoo level cramp, chat. Hey, our guy Skatteboohoo got hit with the cramp today. Shout out. Hopefully he's okay. I guess we know that, he's in some degree not okay, but I guess, bigger picture. Hey, chat, what do you even say as well, too? I guess we wish him well. Can we say that? I don't know. But in terms of his health and getting back on the field, and a tough one just as well, too. If we were talking about first team all entertainment for the NFL season, I feel like Skatteboohoo's got to be the first team all team entertainment running back, because there hasn't, and I guess there has been, shout out to Taylor, of course, he's been incredibly productive. The Colts offense this year has, been the most efficient offense in the league, but I wouldn't say he's been talked about in the sort of same running back echelon of the way we talk about, the top guy that emerges every year, where you get, we can go back and put the back and forth pause between the Derrick Henry and Saquon seasons over recent years, McCaffrey, and which one of those guys is having the most productive season, and then, from a fantasy standpoint, from an offensive player of the year standpoint, and he is number one, I think, in offensive player of the year voting. At least he was, I think, going into the season. Hey, chat, we got to pivot as well, too. Well, I guess not pivot, but just mention as well, too. Spurs up 3 with 1:45 left in the game. Hey, just throwing that in the mix. Wemby trying to close this one out. We're not going to mention who they're playing. They're up by 3. It's against the Brooklyn Nets. Hey, but the Nets might be, a feisty team for the Spurs to play against. Hey, I guess we'll see if they play like the Thunder or Denver or something like that, how they compete. But for the San Antonio, they are giving us, of course, a challenge. Wemby here with the chance to go to the free throw line and make it a 5-point game anyways. But Brooklyn's fought back, and I think Denham has actually been okay as well, too. So there was that sort of, I guess, are we going to do a full, we're going to not, we'll let the game finish. Hey, chat, we can barely keep up. It is what it is. But Taylor, real quickly, 700 yards on the year. So, he's at, 99 yards a game, leading the NFL less than 100 yards a game. Has that ever happened, chat? Do we have to go back to I don't know what year we have to go back to. Maybe it's happened more recently. But it does seem like there is a guy that usually gets over 100. Himself, the last time he actually led the league, because technically, well, I guess maybe there's what Barkley was just running for more probably per game. But 102.2 per game is obviously really good, and shows that there are guys that, get across the 100-yard mark. So from that yardage standpoint, he hasn't necessarily been, admittedly elite from that number, but the touchdowns have been insane. He's 10 touchdowns through 7 games, so at least there's some statistical factor that's keeping him in the mix there. I don't know how historic that pace is. He's less than 1.5, so 1.4. So I don't know. You start again going NBA, NFL history, where that goes. 20-8 as rookies off the bench. Oh, Vernon Maxwell, rookie for San Antonio, 89. Shout out. And Dylan Harper today with 20-8, efficient 28 as well too. I think they showed him as 8 for 11. A 28-6. Chad, Dylan Harper is good right now. And again, it's off the bench versus the Brooklyn Nets squad, but that's pretty. We'll see what will Cooper Flag, what will his stat line look like against the Brooklyn Nets? Do we need to go to Rookie of the Year odds, Chad? Because it's a long season, so we could make that case for Cooper Flag, of course, that his production is going to improve, and if he hits the high side of his rookie, whatever we think his rookie checklist is for what his skill set could be, then is that a more impressive player? But Harper's got the all-round game element that Cooper Flag does. I would say, Cooper Flag maybe a little bit, better in the mid-range maybe with some of his ability to work one-on-one in college. But Harper's athleticism and his three-point shooting could be as good. I guess we could look to see I haven't been following Cooper Flag's box scores. But we watched game 1 and watched him lose by 40 to say that's enough. We don't need to watch Dallas play well this year. So we'll just keep that as the one game we watch for as long as possible. But 1 for 2 on the free throws, gonna make it a 4-point game. Castle taking is that Clowney off the dribble or Claxton? Hey yo, I think it's I think it's Clowney. Chat. Hey yo, Vassell with the steal and the transition dunk. So a flurry of points. The Nets make sure do they have their pick this year? I don't know what the trade situation is. They probably got one of them, but Vassell with 16. He's looking good. It's not necessarily the margin of victory over the last 2 games that you'd want against some maybe potentially lower end teams, but still the ability to be able to, close these games out in the fourth quarter or overtime like they had to against New Orleans. But the ability to close these games out at the end of games is definitely a little bit of a step up this year. And you love just the defensive intensity as well, too. It's not necessarily OKC level intensity, we can't admit. You got to be honest with what you're seeing. Obviously, OKC's defense is what it is. But the abilities of Vassell and Castle are amazing. And then their ability to be able to convert as well, too. You can see the athleticism, them flying around is definitely a factor. But for Taylor, chat, hey, yo, if we could just keep talking about our favorite teams for a second. Taylor, like we're saying, I guess he just hasn't. Well, and I guess, hey, yo, bring it. Shout out poor Skatteboohoo. Hey, yo, we were talking about Cam Skatteboohoo. We just got distracted by this first game. Hey, yo, chat, it is what it is. But to shout out to Skatteboohoo, I guess the point being the number one sort of running back producer in Taylor, again, hasn't necessarily been on like a major historic like yardage pace or anything like that. And Skatteboohoo, I don't know, he's got to be pretty close in some of the overall touchdowns. Here, we'll double check. Taylor, if we add receiving touchdowns onto that, okay, he only has 1 receiving touchdown, so 11 touchdowns on the year. Skatteboohoo, if he was at like 8 on the year, that wouldn't be too crazy. And I feel like it's still over the last couple of games, of course, that he has really started to get the usage on the Giants offense. So ayo, the lag right now, chat, we're overshooting it with the scroll here. Ayo, pause, I don't know, but let's see. Okay, I guess he's only got 6 touchdowns through 4 starts is kind of a similar pace, I would say, if he got all of his not necessarily all of his touchdowns in his starts, but the equal math is definitely feeling like it's there. And a major, part of their offense as well, too, where I know that, of course, the Giants and, hey, yo, Wemby with the follow dunk. Now the Spurs up 10. Let's go, Chad. A closeout win and gets Wemby to 30. There we go. Wemby 30 points, 6 blocks. The stats, I mean, I guess we can't say too much because then he's gonna, the worst is gonna happen. The Skatteboohoo chat, but at this point, the numbers, I mean, they're gonna be insane, obviously. So, first team All NBA, I would say, is not off the table. Like, we know that Tatum spot is available, chat. Tatum, of course, he'll be playing this year, I guess, but not. Will he play enough games to qualify? Is that what Tatum is really trying to do? Just requalify for first team All NBA, keep his streak going? Chat. I don't know, but I don't know if he's gonna quite play that many games. If he does get on the court this year, we'll see. But and Halliburton for All NBA in general. And I guess LeBron with his sciatica as well, too. I don't know when they said exactly the start date for that was, his return. But you imagine that those aren't going to be the only games that he misses over the course of the year. So regular season, he could hover really close to that 65-game mark. And just, again, I think it would be fair as well, too, to be like, hey, if you're, trying to throw a team out there this year, maybe you do take Wembanyama over LeBron. We're not being disrespectful. But just again, from an award standpoint, now the qualifications of it all, there is a real chance that, again, LeBron maybe not hits the 65-game mark. So that is a bummer as well, too, chat, that he could have a potential season on there, on the Basketball Reference there, without the All-NBAs. Do we need Adam Silver? Hey, yo, we're rigging the NBA with the Mafia and with the bets and stuff. Can we just get LeBron an All-NBA spot? I know, we're not necessarily always like, the Glazers over here, ayo, chat, pause. But I do feel like that would be a good streak to keep up for the... It would just be fun to see the Basketball Reference have all of the awards all the years, all the way through. So, obviously it would be a reflection of the fact that he was able to, and you could still look at the numbers and be like, oh, the games played, the stats are still good. Like, maybe looking back knowing the rules, you'd be like, okay, I understand why it didn't happen. But it would still... be a little appropriate as well, too. Like, he's still maybe a top 20, 25 guy. Like, we're not being disrespectful here. He's still super impactful. The league, again, is really talented as well, too. So, to say, even if he was like the 35th best player in the league, and again, I'm not even thinking about the rankings in my mind, but, would we trade Castle for LeBron this year, Chad? I don't know. Castle's got no sciatica. Dylan Harper with a 20-8. Like, I don't know. Is it getting bleak, chat? Maybe the second decision is testing the waters. We'll have to see. But I guess, hey, yo, we're still not talking about Skatteboohoo. Now, talking about LeBron. But yeah, Skatteboohoo. Anyways, he was definitely the first team all-entertaining running back. A fantasy league winning type of player as well too. Waiver wires, late in drafts. Not necessarily, just and it becoming, like we're saying, a legitimate RB1 type of option with the amount that of the offense that the Giants were relying on. And that was a legitimate looking offense as well too, in the, just formidable going forward, because let's not forget that the Giants also had their best receiver right now just out. And did Malik Neighbors tear his knee? So both of those guys are out for a year plus, and, getting hurt in the season as well too is not ideal. Skatteboohoo at this point, halfway through the year, we'll see. It obviously didn't look good, but there's degrees to that type of stuff, where we'll see what the timeline for recovery is there. I don't know. We haven't seen what the blue sky doctors have been saying about the injury for Skatteboohoo. But Colts, speaking of efficient offense, 3-0 in the 5 minutes in the first quarter. What's happening here, chat? Tennessee, no Simmons. No Jeffrey Simmons. If the Colts schedule can't get easier enough, Titans are just like, we're just not going to play our best player against this team. So the divisional aspect of it maybe keeps this one competitive enough. But, hey, yo, Chan, I just realized, I'm looking at the score of the Broncos Cowboys game over there. I realized I turned the game off in the background for some reason. So, reload, chat. We got to get this one going back up again. Prescott, starting to get a little bit into the MVP mix as well, too. There is a wins thing that is starting to hold them back a little bit. But is Kansas City on bye this week, or do they play... Let's see. Do they play tomorrow? We'll double check here. They may be on bye this week. I don't remember exactly all the teams that have the week off. No, I don't think they do, because we have Xavier. Do we have Xavier Worthy in our lineup still? Hey, yo, chat. If we do, hopefully, or they play tonight. We'll see. Okay, yeah, so they play tomorrow night against the Commanders. No Jaden Daniels there. So, I mean, but Mahomes is first in the MVP conversation. They're 4-3. Again, we can see potentially some wins in the future for them as well, too. So, they're factoring that into the odds. But still, I mean, if you're talking about 3-1 versus 4-3, it's not like a crazy difference. And if you go into Denver and get a win, that's still Denver, 5-2. Maybe we still don't really know if the record and how good the team actually is, and if it's the team versus, what the level of production at certain spots on the field is. But the win here would still be good again for that awards type of resume. And I imagine he's already close. Like, it was, well, no, because Drake May was number 4. So I think it was for a second there, and maybe still is. We'll see how it's shaped out now with the late window. And I guess Mayfield would have been the other guy as well, too, and he's playing right now. But you would have Mahomes, Mayfield, and Allen. I don't know, I think maybe Mahomes, Allen, Mayfield. And then Drake May would have been 4th. So maybe Prescott was 5th behind Drake May. And Drake May was, at the end of the day, still good today. The Patriots getting a good win against the Browns. Again, bad team going out there and dominating a decent score, showing that you are probably, a consistent regular season team here, and a pretty formidable, group. Drake May with a good regular season record would definitely continue to help with that resume. But yeah, I mean, Prescott, just in terms of level of play this year, again, has been as good as these guys. And unfortunately, Mayfield in that Lions game was just that was a tough performance to have. So I know that recency bias, has Dak been perfect this year if we go back and check the box scores, but it does seem like, it has been some more of the defense and some of those late game moments more so than actually Prescott's production itself as well. But there may be an interception in like week 2 that I'm not totally remembering here. So, hey, we go back and, take away Prescott's MVP case, Chad. I don't know what the mission here is. But, again, this would be, if the MVP right now is, and, it's not just the MVP it's Mahomes. Again, we get it. Like, we're obviously pro Mahomes here. But still, if the MVP in theory is of a 4-3 team right now, like the Cowboys aren't too far behind being a potential MVP. But, you do have the Eagles winning today as well too, so their record continues to climb, and they're in that conference, in that division as well, at 6-2. And I guess the Lions would be so we got Lions, Raiders, Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks, and Jags. And the Seahawks aren't going to get any MVP considerations, obviously. Well, I don't know, JSN maybe for Offensive Player of the Year, though. We're talking about Taylor obviously leading the way for running backs, but JSN at receiver has been pretty impressive. So, shout out to San Antonio. Do we have NBA? Do we have another game, or do we have to wait? There's no way we don't have another game. Ooh, Detroit versus Boston. Okay, here we go. Oh, Chad, second quarter. Detroit fallen a little bit behind. Boston, I think that game against New York ended up being a 10-point game, but New York had a pretty good lead in that prime game there on Friday night. So, Chad, what's this? Is this halftime, or is this just timeout entertainment? There's no way that this is just normal timeout. This is a crazy... Yeah, we got a whole DJ on the court. It's got to be halftime. Chad. Mike, do you bring out the 90s Motown? I don't know what kind of group this is, actually. But I guess the DJ... It's more just DJs and dancers, I guess. But I don't think you bring them out just for timeout entertainment in the second quarter. You got to let these guys cook. They're going to need a couple minutes to really go through the set list here. So I guess halftime in this game, I guess we can double check here on the scoreboard how Boston is actually doing. So they're going to be looking for revenge. Oh, Detroit, chat closed. When we clicked on the live stream here on League Pass, it was 41-28, I think, if I remember correctly, but something in that range. So yeah, Detroit in the third quarter here outscores Boston by 11. I guess outscored Detroit. Boston outscored Detroit by 9 in the first, but outscored them by 11 in the second, and now it's a 2-point game at halftime. Detroit on their home court. So Detroit again also off a win. Cade 3 for 9. Asar 3 for 10 in this game. So Tobias Harris 5 for 8. is efficient. Jaylen Brown, 23 points in the first half. Hey, yo. Is our guy Simons playing tonight? Imagine we're locked in for a Celtics second half here during an NFL Sunday. And without our guy Simons, hey, yo, we might have to switch over Broncos Cowboys to the big TV if Simons is out. Chet. Oh, here we go. Okay, he's on the bench. 14 minutes, 4 for 9, 10 points. Yeah, Chet, minus 13. Simons is one of the guys that we were like, that stat doesn't matter when we're talking about Anthony Simons. You know, bench production as well too. It's okay maybe, but Hugo Gonzalez in the starting lineup for Boston, and you know they continue to work out their front court difficulties. But again, it's a bridge season between just for getting Tatum healthy and getting the main core of the team back. But Detroit obviously going to need to step up some of the offensive efficiency here. Though I guess in general you like the aggressiveness from Asar, and you see the defense, plus 10, plus 6 from in the plus minus. There is, I'm sure, an athleticism impact that is being had here in this game. I guess we'll see if he's the one on Jaylen Brown as well too. Because you would imagine in this lineup, I mean, I guess looking at Jaylen Brown's numbers, it's looking like he's going up against Tobias Harris, Chet. I don't know, 8 for 13. We'll have to see. Tobias Harris, I'm sure, not foreign to giving up, a bunch of points and a half. But he's matching a little bit, so we got to give him respect there. But, Asar would be the one that it's like, okay, we have to send a guy to go take out a guy. The defensive hitman, Chat, that's going to be Asar. So, the defensive John Wick, I don't know if every team is able to have a John Wick or not, because that's a pretty exclusive guy. John Wick's like one guy, not necessarily like and it's not like a clone trooper situation as well too. It's like the hockey enforcer kind of, but you'd be able to just employ him on defense and just stop anybody. So again, he has the offensive upside potential as well too that we hope continues to make him a valuable player, not just a valuable, got the defensive side of things down. But yeah, I guess 3 for 10, I guess not ideal. So, and only 0 for 1 from 3 as well too. So there is a little bit of him focusing on the 2-point game and not getting it to go. But Holland 10 minutes, so maybe a little more Holland in the second half. We'll have to see. This will be a fun one to lock in on as well. But yeah, we're actually gonna have to focus. And the Bucks, I guess 7-0 versus the Saints. That has, again, with the divisional matchups, another one with the potential to just kind of be maybe a little closer than those teams actually are. But good throw to the sideline for Rattler, and now the Saints are past midfield. So maybe second quarter winding down here, they are able to put some points on the board. So there was some talk about, like whether or not they're going to bench Rattler this. And I guess this is now as just, again, being pro Rattler. Because at some point it's like, well, you might as well, I guess, see what you have in your other guys at quarterback just in case. Even though maybe if we had some projections, if we're running some over-under schemes, Chat, maybe we don't have to even talk to other Saints quarterbacks into getting their unders. Maybe we just bet them. But the Spencer Rattler still feels like he actually has more. He has a little bit more upside than some of these guys at this point. And there has just been and I guess to some degree, a quarterback's confidence at the end of the day is not always everything. But he does have, a bit of a swagger to him that does feel like could lend itself to being a successful NFL quarterback, maybe more so than some of the other guys' skill sets on the roster. Again, it's also about what you have on the team at this moment and what the goal of the team is. Like, again, are they trying to bench these guys to win games, or do they actually think Jake Haener is a guy? Because that's the only other guy I can think of on the roster at this point. Oh, they drafted that Louisville guy as well too. Is it Slod, Chat? Hey, yo, I get a little iffy saying that guy's name because this is like, hey, yo, pause. But still, I think he is a guy that at least they invested a pick in this year, so I don't know if you have to see him this year or not. Or, it's a later pick as well, too, so if you're just carrying him as a backup for a couple years, I guess it's not the worst investment in the world. Again, he is a little bit more veteran. 1st and 20, Bo Nix, Chat, in the pocket. Oh! He got his man. Is that a touchdown, Chad? I think it is. Yes, sir. 14-3. Uh-oh, this Dallas defense. Hey, yo. Dak, maybe he's not going to go to 4-3-1. We'll have to see. But I guess they also got Hunter Deckers as well, too. I guess Jake Hader might be practice squad, maybe. And then Schlaw is the guy, other quarterback that is active at this point. So, again, you take him what? So, second round, so top 40. You know, again, it's a little bit of an investment if you just want to see what you have. Okay, Troy Franklin on the reception. Hey, yo, shout out. And I guess we got to make sure they get this extra point as well, too. You know, we can't just lock in the 14. But, yeah, so, again, I get if you want to see it. But, obviously, you know, we like our guy Rattler getting the opportunity, even if we know ultimately it's like, okay, you know, we know they're probably going to still get a high pick in the draft. At least there is an entertainment as well, too, with Rattler. Because I think that maybe is the other thing with Schlaw is, and maybe, again, you just never know until you throw a guy out there. So we can't just be like, well, this guy seems like he's, well, I guess, you know, that is a little bit of what coaching is. But, you know, oh, this guy seems like he might not be too fun. Like, let's not play him. But he does seem to have that sort of very easy element to his game where, again, that could be good for the offense if he makes quick reads and is efficient and all that different stuff. But, you know, if he's on the low end of that as well, too, it could get the entertainment value could even drop as well. Because, again, everybody, there is a watchability in the league right now to most of these teams. Like, even the Bengals getting Flacco in there did make, like, they were borderline getting unwatchable. And, you know, all due respect to Jake Browning, you know, well, it's just not the right system for Jake Browning. We'll say that. But, you know, with all those factors, you know, obviously, I guess just Jamar Chase and T again, it's not the right place to be for a quarterback. But, you know, you get Flacco in there. And, again, I guess today, you know, a watchable game, even if they're not able to actually get the win. So I guess the Jets would be the one that, and I guess today, they're a little more watchable today when they're playing Cincinnati. But, you know, the Jets would be the one that's like, okay, if the Jets are playing, maybe I'm not necessarily tuning into the Jets. And Minnesota is actually kind of borderline getting there as well, too. McCarthy might be getting healthy, chat. We'll have to see. Do we get a little Google JJ McCarthy health report here? Because he may be playing sooner rather than later. You know, again, Wentz had a little bit of, there's like some of the Mac Jones stuff going on there where it's like, oh, is the backup actually going to be the guy that we want as the starter? And again, because Minnesota is a little more win now as well, too, you could get away with playing Wentz for, you know, let's just even say for this season. If you had to, you're like, yeah, that McCarthy ankle sprain really, you know, just not getting healthy for some reason. The swelling won't go down. I don't know. But no, it doesn't need surgery. It just needs rest. That's all. A lot of ice packs for McCarthy. But, you know, you can still get away with playing him this year. And you still have McCarthy a couple years on the rookie deal. You know, you can still reset and go kind of one more year and start off the McCarthy experience again. And maybe, you know, extra bulk up your backup at that point. Now you know, like, you know, you kind of missed the opportunity there with Darnold, so you have to research or, you know, you draft a guy later, you know, kind of middle of the draft as well, too, as a safety investment. Ooh, Cam Ward escaping pressure. Is that third down? Not quite able to make it. I think escaping the pocket and flag. There's a good chance this could be a holding, but you never know. It could be defensive holding as well, too. So there is a chance the drive is alive, but more than likely. And the Colts now 10-0, second quarter starting. Okay, no, we're just a little too scorely. Once you go up 2 scores in the Titans, I feel like we're good to go. You know, 3-0 there. They go down and get a random touchdown, 7-3. It's like, wait a second, the Colts, have we even been losing this year, chat? I don't even think we've been losing this year, to be honest. Again, we're not quite as good as the stats, but it's not too far off as well, too. I think we're less of a fraud team than maybe some of the teams the other way around, where you're like, okay, is this team, you know, are they as good as, you know, like we're saying, maybe Denver or some of these other teams, or maybe a team is like, oh, they're not as bad as their record is, or whatever. But like, are the Colts more of a fraud than Kansas City? I guess Kansas City is like a fraud 4-3 team at this point. You know, kind of going the other way. It's like, okay, are they really 500? But are they a 15-2 team this year as well too? Oh, and on 3rd and 6, Chad, is that Calvin Ridley? Hey, yo, I didn't. Tristan Spears Something Spears? I'm just reading the closed caption here. Hey, yo, somebody taking off down the sideline. Was that a little reverse? A little screenplay? What happened there? Hey, yo, just out on the edge. Pick up a 41? Yeah, shout out. Getting him into the red zone. So, hey, yo, right when we started complimenting the score, there's going to be that random touchdown. Baker on 3rd and 7, Chad. Oh, he escapes the pressure. He's not able to get the completion, but it's a good escape, a good enough pass to be like, oh, Baker, he does it once again, just not quite able to get it to go. Good enough for the vibes, highlights, the odds, the FanDuel odds at this point. But, yeah, hey, yo, shout out, Pro Rattler chat at this point. And I still don't know if we, properly gave credit to Skatteboohoo's season as well, too. I feel like, we keep getting distracted. It is what it is. Welcome to the REMINGTOM pod. There's, I guess, a lot of sports on. We're going to be headed in a lot of different directions right now. Oh, Cade with the step back. Not quite able to get it to go. I guess second half, if you didn't notice there. Underway now for Celtics versus Pistons. So this will be fun. We haven't really got a chance to see the Celtics yet this year. So, again, with Simons out there and with the way the offense is predicted to play, this is going to be, hopefully a fun watch team. Though, like we said, those front court minutes, it does make this team a little bit tougher in terms of them being, not like, oh, are they going to win the East without Tatum? But in terms of them being, a top 6 seed and they could, again, make a trade, figure some stuff out, just that rotation can get better as well, too. They can start playing better. But they don't have a lot of depth there, and it is a little sketchy with the guys that they do have. So again, they do have the wings and the guards to definitely make up for it from a scoring standpoint, but it's gonna make them. It's gonna make a lot of these games definitely pretty close. And Gunnar Helm into the touchdown, into the end zone for the Titans. So yeah, Chad. Ayo, second quarter, potentially 7-10 here, if the Titans get the extra point. I mean, Colts offense, I'm sure a good drive. No foreign thing to a good drive here at this point in the season. But, yeah, hey, yo, shout out, again, R.I.P. Skatteboohoo, R.I.P. to the Giants' future, champ. It is what it is. Neighbors and Skatteboohoo. It's a good thought. It's definitely the right move. You got to draft both those guys as well. They're both insanely talented. Neighbors, there is a case that he is the best receiver in the class. I mean, Brian Thomas was looking pretty good last year and had a chance to take a step up. Obviously, same with Marvin Harrison. I just got distracted, chat, because the bottom scroller thing on the NFL Red Zone just said Richardson expected to return in 25. So it also said that they were trying to bring back Daniel Jones. So, hey, maybe Richardson's committed to the experiment. Hey, yo, pause. He's like, back up to Daniel Jones, lock it in. This is not too bad, Chad. Hey, yo, make no mistake. Like, I guess Anthony Richardson, it's not like, was Anthony Richardson faking his injuries? Like, I guess we could sit here and say, oh, the man's not durable, shout out. But, I mean, the injuries probably hurt, chat. So, you know what? He might actually be like, if I get injured every 7th hit, then maybe the backup is, I'm actually fine. This is good. Rookie contract, 4th overall pick, not a bad paycheck. I guess Richardson expected to return. So does that mean the Colts are expected to bring him back? We're going to have to look into that, Chad. Hey, yo, I don't know what's going on there because, I mean, we're not against, watching some of the YouTube highlights of some of these quarterbacks in the draft class as well. And I know Colts are going to be looking at maybe a little bit of a different pick, but I don't know if it's going to be a big first-round class this year as well, too. We'll see if, we're able, if there's like some sneaky middle of the, day 2 talent maybe that we could potentially get. The blitz on Prescott, chat, and he's just got to just chuck it out of bounds. Hey, yo, 3rd and 10. So I forget what game was it earlier. Oh, it was that Jets-Bengals game. There was a moment I was listening to the Red Zone making lunch, and Scott Hansen was just like, or no, it wasn't Scott Hansen. It was the announcer in the Jets-Bengals game. I guess this is the game we're talking about. But there was just one play that I heard him say, like, oh, this is an all-out blitz, and Fields just doesn't see it. And I was just like, can we skip backwards? Can we rewind the Red Zone broadcast? Because I need to see this play. How do you not see the... And he was like, okay, they disguised it well, pre-snap, but still, that's pretty aggressive. And I guess at what point you get obviously the all-out blitz, and then once it happens, pause, it is a tough thing to navigate if you're not necessarily prepared for it. But still, it's like, okay, I don't know, that's a little bit tough. So they did obviously get the win at the end of the day. I don't know if they ended up going to Tyrod Taylor. Do we have to double check shot? Why did the offense play so well? And no Garrett Wilson as well, too, unless he just randomly got healthy in the second half. Ooh, 2 second half touchdowns for Breece Hall. Oh, and did they have Breece Hall throw a touchdown? Hey, yo, so a crazy third quarter. The Jets now, I don't know, 23 points for the Jets. What's the football equivalent of that for points by the Broncos in the fourth quarter? Obviously, last week the Broncos with their 33-point fourth quarter, but with this Jets offense, maybe 23 points in the fourth is a little more impressive. I don't know. So yeah, Breece Hall 1 for 1, 4 and a touchdown, and then 18 for 33 and 2 tutties. So the best Breece Hall game in like 7 years, and I think it's his third year in the league. So shout out, but 3 all-round touchdowns and really great running as well too. Feels like something that we haven't seen from a Breece Hall stat line in a while. And yeah, they did go with Fields for the entire game, so shout out. He does continue to not somehow throw interceptions this year. Justin Fields is just been a wild experiment, obviously. And I guess, at 1-7, do we still not know? Maybe we do know. But every time we look at the numbers, we're like, wait a second, is Fields like actually a top 20 quarterback in the league? Like, what's happening? I mean, he's 0-6. Okay, so he does have 4 picks on the year. Thank goodness. Hey, yo. I mean, obviously Jets fans don't want that, but oh no, he does. He has 4 touchdowns. He has 0 picks. So that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but still, it is a little strange. It's like, just throw one. Hey, yo, 31.8 on the QBR here. So the stats are still adding up in some ways, in a way that the eye test would match, but 91.1 on the rating, I guess, is a little interesting there. So 40 first downs as well. I don't think that's super crazy, but at least it's on pace with what he had last year. So definitely, in 6 starts last year, 6 starts this year. Obviously, he was 4-2 last year, way down on the yardage, and still only, I guess, had 1 pick as well too. But again, 0-6. It's different if you're like 3-3 and you're like, okay, can we go the extra level? Is there something else we can unlock with this team if we make a quarterback change? Is there is he holding us back in some way? But and I guess again, you could make all those same cases at 0-6, but it's a different type of unlocking, I guess, from 0-6 to now. Are we gonna win 2 more games over the rest of the season? And now all of a sudden our pick is not as good as maybe we want it to be. So at this point, again, you're committed to, Fields is just going to play himself into his own replacement at this point. And I think he's only on a 2-year deal. So it's not necessarily, major long-term stuff for the Jets to figure out there. Oh, chat, what do we have here? Oh, is this a pick 6? Is this a interception? Something just happened in the Bucs game. I think it got called back though. So it will be first down for Tampa. But I think Rattler just threw an interception. So, Chad. Yep, Slaw's looking like, is he going to start throwing warm-ups on the sideline? Hey, yo. Hopefully our guy Rattler, hopefully, keep him in the league. Get him in the starting 5, or what's the name of the Netflix show? Quarterback. Get him into the quarterback show. I feel like he'd be a good addition there as well. Because I guess you do have I guess Mariota was in the quarterback show that 1 year. So I guess of like the 2 years it's been going. So, but is Rattler a better character for the show than Mariota? And I think Rattler's been on some Netflix properties as well too. So he might have a contract at this point. To be honest, do we have to look into that? Is that why they haven't replaced Rattler at this point? Does he have a Netflix contract? And they're like, well, he has to start. Oh, Saints defense getting pressure. Mayfield's going to get sacked back at midfield. So 3rd and long. Ayo, 6 for 9 for Mayfield, Chad. He's keeping his stats there on purpose. He looked at him at the sideline. He's like, okay, well, let's run the ball a couple times. Keep it there for a while. Pause. Whoa, hey, yo. Prescott, the pass getting batted down on the sideline. No Surtain. The Broncos secondary still flying around out there. I mean, Surtain has definitely bounced back this year in terms of, his week-to-week performance. But I don't know if he is, again, this year in playing in, like, irreplaceable territory. I mean, the ultimate version of Surtain is a pretty irreplaceable player. But, hey, yo, Daniel Jones, one-on-one to Pittman. Pause on the sideline in the end zone. And Pittman with the crazy one-handed grab. Titans defender, I think, did he get the flag there? I think there is going to be PI. So, oh, chat, beautiful with the right arm. Just pause. Whoa, hey, yo. One-handed kind of leaning back, pinning it against the body. Hey, yo. Landed in bounds. Yep, and the PI chat. So, shout out Pittman, a catch of the year contender. Daniel Jones giving the Colts offensive player there a chance to make a play. So, there we go, chat. 17-7. The Colts offense is moving up and down the field at this point. And the Saints defense, they get the turnover off of Mayfield. Oh, Chad, is that Chase Young? So the Saints are going to have the football around the 45. 47 seconds left in the second half. So they could get a they could get a field goal here, 3-7. You know, anything would not be bad. You're already down one score, even if you don't have any points. It's 7-0. So, you know, you'd still be down one score, I guess. But just the vibes of getting points on the board would obviously be a little bit of an upgrade. Good stop by the Dallas defense as well, too. Quick 3 and out. Oh, chat. Franklin should have had that. Oh! He just juggled it going out of bounds. He had the high point catch. He had both feet in bounds. And then he's just not able to maintain possession through the ground there, chat. Ayo. So, good throw by Bo Nix as well, too. That would have given him the first down. That's basically him doing his part there for keeping the drive alive. Just not quite, I guess, you know, a perfect throw. Is Franklin able to not bobble it? But still, I mean, it does seem like that is a catch that you're able to make most of the time. So, you know, unfortunate sort of way to complete the possession there. But they still have the second quarter here starting up for Dallas. So an important drive for them, again, in the vibes of the game, maintaining and it being in that one-score range as well, too. But I guess a timeout by the Saints. Hey, yo, chat, just keep it on the Saints game. We got to see if Rattler is able to lead a drive here. He's 12 for 14 today, 105 and an interception. So close, chat. He's so close. Rattler's almost a good quarterback. He just needs time. Give him a couple more starts. He'll be okay. He drops back. Chat. Oh, the blitz. Oh, stay alive, chat. Stay alive. He's almost able to avoid the pressure. They're going to have to use their last. Are they going to use their last timeout on the third down? Okay, I think they do. I think Lamar calls timeout. 31 seconds left. Chat, you know, you're still kind of in field goal range here. So you don't want to go backwards, especially with the yardage. You know, I feel like you're still probably pretty close with especially with the little check down here. But that's tough as well too. You know, you would like to save that field goal, of course, to help save the timeout to help set up the field goal. But you know, you don't want to necessarily rush that third down play as well too, and then you know guarantee that you don't get any extra yards. So you can get a play to the sideline. You can get a first down maybe and spike it, but you can't spike it, of course, fourth down. So you're just going to have to, you know, hope the field goal unit's able to get out there in time. So, yeah, Rattler, I guess, now 13 for 15, 113 and an interception. I guess the last play was a run, so the play before that added to the stats at this point. So third down, 45, yeah. Oh, 57-yard field goal. It is close, chat. It is close. I guess Groupie, I don't know. Oh, the little underneath pass to Kamara. He scampers forward for the first down. So, oh, did Kamara fumble? No way. Kamara fumbled the Saints in field goal range. I think they say it's going to be Saints ball still. They're still going to say it's Saints ball. They're going to be able to get up and spike it. So 11 seconds left, and at the 30, you get yourself in field goal range. You could run a play, but hey, yo. Did Kamara recover that? Or did he just, you know, the ground caused the fumble? Because there was definitely 3 or 4. And, yeah, Kamara looked like he almost got concussed there on that play. Was go unconscious and lose the ball almost. Hey, yo. We had the red zone in the split screen there, so it was a little difficult to make out the details of what happened. But you've got Levante David in the mix. I think this is looking like it's a fumble. Oh, knee down. Okay, there we go. Kamara's knees down. Good call. It is definitely football being fumbled before his elbow hits the ground. But yeah, knee on the ground. That is good to go for New Orleans there, so they'll have time to make one more play. Cam Ward, little screen pass here. Good tackling by the Colts. I was going to say, a couple of easy yards after the catch type of plays. Colts defense giving up some tackling, giving up some big plays, some easy play calls there for Tennessee. Could be an interesting way to exploit. So shout out. Speaking of the defense, they just showed the stats for Tampa's defense, and I guess in terms of all the turnovers and stuff, they've had the more impressive day. Rattler, speaking of the confidence chat, he's not afraid to take a shot. Are they going for that pass interference as well, too? I think that's McCollum, the corner on the outside, making the good defensive play. I think Rattler is accurate. He just throws it right off the cornerback's paws, his back. Hey, yo, that's crazy. But not given, I guess, quite the defender, not Shaheed, or the receiver, not quite able to make a play back at the football for it. So easy enough field goal, though, with that check down to Kamara being a clutch play. And Rattler, again, an efficient first half. From a stats point, field goal up, field goal good. 2 seconds left in that 1 second. Oh, Chet! Hey, yo, the Saints clock operator just says those, last 3 seconds of the extra half, they just don't matter. Shout out. I mean, I'm sure Tampa doesn't want anything crazy to happen as well, too. So they'll take a lead in this game. They just need to get out with a win. It's not, old school college football. Let's add to the win total, the win margin here, and show how dominant we are. We just need the record to be good at the end of the year. But, yeah, shout out. Decent, I guess, enough performance by the Saints offense. And if it wasn't for a flying around Tampa defense, then maybe they're able to compete. So we'll see if it's not so turnover crazy in the second half. Maybe they're hanging around a little bit more competitive. But Baker as well too, has had some opportunities to make some plays, and it just hasn't quite come to fruition quite yet. Oh, Chad, replaying the Tatum play. Hey, yo. Oh, and the Halliburton play back-to-back. Pause. I feel like we have to look away. Oh, a dark time for the NBA, of course, really putting an asterisk there on the playoffs a little bit. In a way. Plus, do we need an asterisk on that Thunder's title? We do. I mean, not to give them motivation to go win an undeniable one, but again, with the Spurs emerging, we need something for if they are able to match them in that aspect for the Spurs to be more impressive than the Thunder. So that would be a good one, of course, with Halliburton, getting hurt. Unfortunately, we don't necessarily need him to be the sacrificial lamb here. But regardless, just in terms of, this is the storylines we have to deal with now. What are we going to do with them? Pause. But Tatum looking a little bored, Chad. Hey, yo, I mean, I'm sure he's going to want to get out there and play. But, you got to love the commitment, of course, to traveling with the team as well, too. I mean, easy enough to just hang out in maybe home games, Chad. I don't know. Would you guys be good teammates and travel with the team? I feel like you definitely would. Of course, as well, too. Plus, if you're, good friends with your teammates, it'd be fun as well. Just hanging out. Hey, yo, Tatum hanging out with the boys, Chad. What's he going to just sit at home? But, still, there is a world where it's like, yeah, that's also a little easier as well, too. So we'll see. I guess game 35, if Tatum's maybe the season's not going to play, or, not playing this year, we'll see if Tatum is still making the road trips and still locked in sideline-wise. But for now, he's there. He's supporting. Shout out. So Detroit, I guess we don't really know what his connections in Detroit are as well too. But maybe that's just for Tatum there. But yeah, Chet. Hey, yo. I guess what else happened besides the Bengals Jets game? And I guess P. Ryan 94 yards. P. Ryan's been pretty good this year too, as well. He did have that Thursday night game against the Steelers. That was pretty impressive. Oh, I guess here we're looking for P. Ryan chat. Oh, there we go. Samaje, a veteran of the league at this point, 8 years. Hey, yo, chat. Of course, the running back lifespan. You love to see him hanging around, pause, like that, having a good career. But definitely starting to, the number starting to go up a little bit here. So I guess, we got him at 99 for the year, chat. Hey, yo, 92 for the year. Chad, this is crazy. We could just dial in the scrolling, I guess, with the lag. But I think the computer is going to need a restart. It is what it is. Wait, so what happened in that Monday night game against Pittsburgh? Who had? Oh, was it who had a good game for the for the Bengals? Oh, I guess it was probably Chase Brown, of course. So P. Ryan taking the Chase Brown stats. I guess Chase Brown still had a good game as well too. 12 for 73, 1 touchdown. So just decent run game overall. Flacco 2 for 14 and a touchdown. Yeah, Chet, here, let's see. Do we go like Cincinnati rush stats on the season if the page decides to slow down and load here? We'll have to see. Al Golden, defensive coordinator, is dialing up some pressure today to start. Al Golden's locking down Justin Fields for 3 quarters almost. And then Fields figured it out. But rushing, I guess, defensively, not too elite in any of the stats. Rushing wise, though, chat, they're bad in all of the rushing stats. Hey, yo, it is what it is. There's no hope. Chase Brown, P. Ryan, I guess enjoy it while you can, chat. It doesn't even result in a win, but at least decent yards per carries stats for Bengals running backs today. So silver lining. No Hendrickson for defense. He was out with injury, so I know he's not necessarily been like. And oh, there he is, chat. Hey, yo. Were they saying did he leave the game with injury? He might have left the game at some point, or just was getting bored as well too. Maybe that's when the game flipped, when Hendrickson left. I don't remember. So I don't know. They mentioned Hendrickson as well too. Was he maybe he was part of the all-out blitz that Fields didn't see? I don't know. But Cowboys. Oh, Ferguson. Who's the tight end? Shoemaker. Hey, yo, chat, we can't say names. Shoemaker, getting dragged down at the 1-yard line, 1st and goal. Javonte Williams, revenge touchdown, chat. Hey, yo, we forgot about the Javonte Williams revenge game factor here in Denver. Of course, we saw Rico Dowdle with the revenge game against the Cowboys a couple of weeks ago, but this time the Cowboys running back has a chance to get revenge. Oh, Daniel Jones, sacked on 4th down, the corner blitz, chat. The quarter blitz. Hey, yo, as simple as it may seem, I don't know if a lot of teams have been running the quarter blitz against San Antonio. Hey, yo, chat, against Indianapolis this year. You know, Indianapolis has been a good, of course, 1st, 2nd down team. Not necessarily always in 3rd and longs and in those types of scenarios where maybe you'd want to send that type of pressure. But regardless, you know, hey, yo, is that the Daniel Jones weakness right there? The corner blitz, hopefully not. Hopefully other teams are looking away at this point. But Colts punting on 4th and 19, a rare sight. So Cowboys 1st and goal, chat. Hey, yo, oh, it's Prescott. Prescott, the tush push. It fails miserably. The Cowboys defensive line destroys the Broncos. That doesn't work, chat. Hey, yo. Prescott's lifted up off his feet. He may have even lost a yard at that point. I mean, that does show you of course, as much as you don't want to say it, and you know, you don't want to credit the tush push or anything that Philly does there in a good way, but it does, you know, show you how important that Jalen Hurts factor is to that play, where his ability to stay on balance through the contact and his ability to just keep the pile pushing, keep his legs moving, keep the drive going is important as well too. Prescott just doesn't have that same power as a runner, obviously. And it's just easier for him to get knocked off balance against some of these, you know, bigger defensive linemen. So they do get the rushing touchdown to go. They decide to, you know, stick to the basics. Hey, yo, good block by, is that the fullback or the tight end? They had the fullback like lined up in tight end, and then he kind of pulled across and got a block there. So, I mean, you got to give him credit where credit's due. And Javonte Williams gets in the end zone. 7th rushing touchdown this year. So he's actually having, you know, in kind of his first actual season as a starting running back as well, too, because he's been a little back and forth. I guess outside of, what was his rookie year when he had the initial sort of breakout season. But I don't even remember if that was over the whole season as well, too. That might have been over the end part of the year. Let's take a look here and see, because he was a 1,000-yard rusher at one point, and is on pace to kind of get there as well too. He's at basically 600 yards and 6 touchdowns going into today's game. So we'd have to go back to, I guess, his rookie season, 903 yards. So 1,200 yards from scrimmage, and then 1,002 yards from scrimmage in 23. So he's always gotten a decent amount of receiving yards to help boost those numbers a little bit. 316 receiving yards isn't nothing. 3 touchdowns as well too. So that gets you 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns. Definitely a very productive rookie season. And one of the reasons that, again, people have been eyeing him in fantasy and reasons he's got a starting job now. But 30 first downs, leads the league in first downs as a running back is kind of crazy. Of course, the Cowboys offense is one of the more dynamic in the league. And you see his success percentage in general is just up over 50% the first time in his career, but it's at 57 as well too. So yeah, 4.3 basically first downs per game. His next highest that rookie year was 3, and then he was 53 yards a game that year. He's 84 a game this year. But yeah, he was 4 starts, 4 games the year after that. 13 games started in 23, though he did appear in 16 games, and then played in 17 games in 2024, but again, only 11 starts as well too. 139 carries, 513 yards, 4 touchdowns. It was obviously looking like he was trending in a little bit of a different direction. But now, sole starter, he's got the stats rebounding. The impact is there. The fantasy people are in love with Javonte Williams again. So, again, it's just obviously a good vibe season for the first time in a while for Javonte Williams. But him as the main running back as well too hasn't necessarily been that way in Denver since initially he got there. But again, look, he only started 1 game as a rookie as well too. So was that like Melvin Gordon that was there still in 2021, or was he gone to the Chargers at that point? 7-10, the Vic Fangio Broncos chat. Hey yo, what an error. Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback. What was he record? 7-7. Hey yo, honestly not bad. Yeah, Melvin Gordon was the starter, and he had 918 yards and 8 touchdowns. So, again, it was an effective running game. You got 100-plus yards rushing per game, and each of them 203 carries. So, there was an even amount of opportunity there as well, too. And then Javonte Williams had more targets. So, he was getting more opportunity even though he wasn't necessarily starting, which is why I was thinking about him as more of the main guy that year. But again, I guess even that year he was still sharing a backfield with Javonte or with Melvin Gordon. So again, does everybody share a backfield to some degree as well? Of course, we know that that's definitely, the committee factor is definitely something that is part of the modern game. But he is regardless still the lead guy there in Dallas. And again, would be actually one of the more, sole running backs that we do have at this point as well too, because I don't even know now that Dowdle's gone, Chad, who else do they even have there in Dallas at this point? Well, that's right, they have Blue, that Texas Longhorns running back, Jaden Blue, shout out. So I think he is a interesting prospect for sure. I definitely like some of the stuff that we've seen from him, but regardless, Javonte Williams is still definitely excuse us, chat, still definitely the number 1 guy there in a a pretty dominant lead way. So shout out to Luka Garza, chat. Hey yo, former home state legend. Of course, before there was Caitlin Clark, there was Luka Garza winning Big Ten Players of the Year and National Players of the Year and all that different stuff. And Keegan Murray as well too, of course, Big Ten Player of the Year, higher draft pick than Luka Garza, not Caitlin Clark, but higher draft pick Luka Garza. But Garza, if I'm not mistaken, he was National Player of the Year, or a contender, at least. Maybe a little bit more than Keegan Murray was, and definitely Big Ten Player of the Year. And maybe he had some scoring record stuff as well, too. So, again, Caitlin Clark definitely got all the school records and Big Ten records and college records. But Garza had him for a second there. He had a couple of Iowa records, I feel like. So, it is what it is. Shout out. Simon's chat. pressured. Hey, yo. We got him having to deal with this feisty Pistons backcourt here. Garza dribbling around in the perimeter. This is a little tough, chat. We got Garza, Hauser. Who else is in the corner? Oh, there's Simons. Wait, who else is the fifth guy outside Jaylen Brown, chat? We got to dial in the Celtics lineup here at this point. Oh, and Pritchard. Okay, so yeah, you know, Pritchard, Simons, and Brown. That's the main three this year anyways, so as long as those guys are out there. But Duran, just the easy lob. Hey, yo. And Garza, you know, the offensive focus that he has, again, on an offensive team, maybe you're able to lean into that a little bit, but defensively, he is going to give up some possessions. So it is what it is. Jaylen Brown, the shot attempts are going to continue to go up through the course of this game. And the offense is definitely very quick for Boston. See, the problem is they're going to want to play that way. Oh, chat, we got to pay attention. Hey, Denver, driving up the field. They got 1st and 10 inside the 5. So trying to make this 21-10 a real, you know, keep the foot on the gas type of drive here. Otherwise, you know, you're maybe punting back and giving up a lead potentially. But again, Boston, they do kind of want to play quick, but also, you know, at some point you want to have good setups to your offense as well too. And, you know, Brown is a little ISO heavy and, you know, can stagnate an offense a little bit at times with his dribbling and with his game. But he is also a guy that, you know, if you got some movement around him as well too, and some offensive stuff going on, and he's got some options, and you know, some options for some guys to go to, like, you know, that can definitely work. So you know, just run some good sets as well too would be a little bit better than sometimes just super quick possessions and trying to just find a 3-point shot as fast as you can. Because even Simons is a good guy to, you know, run a play for as well too. And, you know, make it, speaking of guards, Hauser, you know, you could run a play for Hauser, even though Hauser could be a bailout option a little bit. So they do have, again, some quick, you know, pull the jump shot quick type of players in Simons and Jaylen Brown. But there's going to have to be, I guess that's going to have to be Missoula trying to figure out how to balance that and coach that stuff up properly. But Harris not able to get the corner 3 to go. It is a 9-point game here in the third quarter, so Detroit has definitely done a good job of maintaining here, but haven't necessarily gone the extra step of closing them out, and still earlier, you know, so far throughout the game as well too, with the fourth quarter still approaching. The push by Denver, chat. Hey, yo. Second and goal. And they're able to get it to go, responding to the Javonte Williams touchdown with the rushing touchdown of their own. And now, oh, are they going to get it? Call it short? Oh, chat, they get forward progress on that because he didn't stop moving. He didn't get tackled. He didn't go down. Oh, there's no way that's forward progress in 2025. Oh, chat, the refs are getting that. They're getting too antsy there. Hey, yo, the Denver Broncos ref luck continues. To be honest, if they don't score here, that's going to be another play that we remember. They get the lineup, chat. Okay. They get into the end zone. Easy touchdown that time on 3rd and goal. Oh, exchanging words. Players getting physical pause. RJ Harvey with the direct snap. Not even messing around. Just get the football and get right into the end zone. And good blocking by the Denver front there to get a good lane. But again, they've been unfriendly with some of these ref situations. I know it's been more end of game, so we'll have to wait for the fourth quarter. And I guess this time we don't have to wait for the fourth quarter, at least in terms of Bo Nix playing well. Hey, yo, Broncos, 20 points in the first half. But, you know, maybe we'll wait for the fourth quarter for the when do the refs screw us over portion of the game. But that would have been a good one right there for sure, where they call forward progress maybe just a little bit too early, and then they don't get the touchdown, and then Dallas is able to capitalize off of the opportunity in some way. Again, it would be a real momentum turning part of the game with the way the score is starting to line up. So, as always, you know, Dallas has a chance to respond here and potentially not make it look too bad. But with enough time left in the second half, they can really, you know, start to put this game away a little bit. Or at least, you know, I guess Denver has to know that you can never give up in a game as well. But you know, again, in terms of really making it uncomfortable for Dallas, making it starting to look impossible, this next set of possessions here could really start to make that happen. And I guess it would depend as well, too, if they get the ball back in the second half as well. Because if Dallas does, again, the way they could flip the score back in their favor a little bit could actually be the momentum shift that, you know, they could use a turnover, of course, or just a stop. But that could be a little bit of a stop as well, too. Just a way for them to get 2 scoring possessions in a row without giving up any points. It's like, okay, we actually need to have a halftime break for that to happen. Our defense isn't going to get a stop, but maybe halftime will stop this Broncos offense. And hopefully they're not allowed to, like, run out there and kick a field goal at some point while we are not looking. But Duran getting fixed up on the sideline, it looks like he's going to be okay. No Skatteboohoo for our guy Duran, but it does look like he needed a little attention there for a second. Ooh, Jaylen Brown fights for the rebound. They're going to have to, of course, make that a team effort if they're going to want to be there, be competitive there, because they're not, like we said, maybe going to get necessarily the same kind of frontline help as some of these other teams. So I think that definitely, you know, that Brown can fight for rebounds, and Pritchard as well too. But and I guess, you know, Derek White's good at boxing out and stuff, good sound boxing out type guy. But you know, you would wonder like maybe how Simons could hold up there, Hauser as well too. But I think Hauser could be a little bit of a underrated rebounder. Of course, he is an underrated defender, so wouldn't be surprised for sneaky athlete Sam Hauser to be kind of a good rebounder as well too. But Bucks, opening up the second half, chat. Cade Otton dives for the end zone. Does he get the football? Oh, they're calling it a touchdown for Tampa. It looked like a fumble into the end zone for Otton. That could have been recovered by the Saints, but it's looking like, it looks like they might just give Cade Otton a touchdown himself as well too. I think he might be down a little short. We'll see here. That was a long dive into the end zone for sure. Good attempt. A 4-yard dive. Oh, elbow down. It's close, chat. It's close. When they stop the video here, he's definitely over, but I think his elbow was down a few frames before that. So if we're going frame by frame, chat, and we're trying to get this right little pylon cam, see what's going on. We've got wrist, forearm down right there. Chat, there, guy in the replay booth, I mean, shout out. You know, we need him, obviously, to watch the game. An invaluable part of the American cultural experiences are the guys running these cameras and stuff. But slow it down in the replays a little sooner when his elbow hits the ground. It's the moment his elbow hits the ground, not before that. Yeah, 1st and goal. Maybe they just knew that, you know, kind of watching it. It's just kind of obvious, like we're saying, as well, too. But definitely stopping the plays in favor of Tampa. He's like waiting for Baker Mayfield to fully land on the ground and then cross the goal line. It's like, okay, the camera stops there. Wait a second, why? It's not the play. The play is gonna be, it's not gonna be a touchdown. Chat. We got the yawns. Our bad. Jonathan Taylor. Maybe he'll. I guess it's what happens when you play the Titans, chat. Even when you're up, you know, we're sleepwalking just like some of these NFL teams, chat. Week 8. NFL nap week? I don't know what's going on. Is that why Lamar Jackson missed the game? What happened? The man just slept through his alarm? I thought he was supposed to return. I didn't even realize he wasn't returned until we were like, wait a second, Tyler Huntley? Why do they keep saying Tyler Huntley's name on the broadcast? What's going on there? That's also just us as well too. We're so pro Tyler Huntley that even when Lamar Jackson being the starter for the team, shout out McKinley with the defense on Mbuka in the Sterling Shepard chat. What number are these guys? Shout out to either way, McKinstry with the Kool-Aid with the one-on-one defense on the outside. Almost gets the pick on Baker. And Tampa gets the stop on 2nd and goal on the running back from the 1. So forcing a 3rd and goal here. Starting to tighten up in the red zone. But, I don't remember where we were going off of that. Something before that about some guys. But chat, the Tampa Bay running back, number 44. Once again, you know, a shout out to Skatteboohoo. It is what it is. Giants fans, the best 6 weeks of the regular season of any year this century Is there a case? Because I don't remember the regular season being that fun the year they won the Super Bowl. The year they won the second year they won the Super Bowl, I don't really remember what anything that they did in the regular season that year. I think they were like 9-7 or 10 wins, so they were pretty, kind of mid team. And Baker to this time actually doing Buka, and it is McKinstry this time. Hey yo, Chad, hey yo, were we seeing the future? I don't know. Do we get the spice, Chad? Enlightened by the spice? I'm not sure, but hey yo, pause. But McKinstry that time does actually stop Buka, tested him one-on-one, pause twice, not working. So he has been a good pick as well too. Maybe was it the Tampa game earlier that he had an interception, or maybe against Atlanta? Oh, and the 4th and goal call, chat. Hey yo, speaking of scat, I guess Sean Tucker gets both of the attempts there, number 44 for Tampa. They're like, now that Skatteboo's out, somebody's got to take the mantle. Maybe Skatteboo reincarnated on Tampa as this guy. Who knows? I don't know if that would be, what the rules there are or not. But, I mean, the tough running, the same number, chat. The two arms on the football, no fumbles. Did Skatteboo even fumble this year? I mean, that's a guy that if you were just asking people on the street how many fumbles did Skatteboo have, you'd be like, oh, yeah, 0. That guy's a stud, obviously. But fundamentals, Chad. I mean, you probably wouldn't fumble. But, Jaylen Brown, good take to the basket, Chad. Still 11-point game. But third quarter, a minute left, couple of buckets, you'll be okay. Jaylen Brown, 34. I will say for, shout out, of course, our guy Simmons, Ayo. I feel like, do we say shout out to our guy Simmons? If we have to say shout out Russillo as well too. I don't know. R.I.P. chat. It is what it is. The show obviously, Russillo's still around, but for as biased as Simmons is about his Celtics, one of the smart things we feel like, all right, one of the smart things, chat, but one of the things that from a betting standpoint we're like, I actually do think that is pretty smart, is Jaylen Brown to potentially lead the league in scoring. I think there is, if we had maybe bet like a 30 plus per game for Jaylen Brown and maybe got like and not done like a full on be the number one scorer, there may have been a smarter way to, make money off of Jaylen Brown's offense this year. I don't know. But that was a good one where you're like, oh yeah, the speed that which the Celtics are going to play and just, okay, his field goal attempts this year in some of these games could potentially be insane. Because again, it is partly, yes, Tatum is out and they need somebody to take the shots. But make no mistake, Jaylen Brown, the man loves taking shots. Shots. If there's opportunity, and especially if he doesn't have to worry about like, oh, now again, where's Tatum? Oh, I have to worry about Tatum on offense. He's like, I can just, if I feel like taking a basket and there's going to be no repercussions and the fans aren't going to, and not to say that he would be worried about all that stuff as well too, but it's just like the ease at which for him he can just take jumpers this year and nobody's going to worry about it he is probably the most green light offensive player in the league, which if you're I guess, or just maybe for the all NBA guys as well too, if you're going who has the most green light for all the all NBA guys, we'd definitely be there. I mean, which star is not going to be able to take over a game whenever they want to, especially, obviously if they're cooking. You get Luka, Steph, Jokic, Giannis, again, any of these top offensive guys are on that list potentially, but he is up there. So the one thing would be him having the balance of maybe some 24-point nights in there with the 34-point nights, and maybe he is a little bit more in like a 29 to 31 per game type range. But if it is a pretty balanced year this year, maybe there is like a 31, 32 a game score. It doesn't have to necessarily be like 34 points a game, historic territory. But, I guess Wemby is in that. I guess where's Maxey at right now for points per game? I guess, do we go to the odds here real quick? Because we did mean to look up Skatteboo's Rookie of the Year odds just to see if they still exist. In honor of the incredible season that he was having there. Shout out. But, Warren was looking good. I mean, obviously his own teammate, Jackson Dart, just being a quarterback, is going to get a lot of buzz if the production and the vibes continue to go good in terms of, just being a starter guy, and that playing out for awards bases as well too. The threshold for a good quarterback season versus a good running back season, of course, is a little bit different. But I guess they don't have rookie of the year odds on here. We may have to double back on Tuesday, chat, and check that out. What was Skatteboohoo for MVP? Yeah, ayo. So again, I guess. What did? Oh, Dobbins. I was gonna say, did Prescott just throw a pick? But no, Dobbins is running up the middle, and they almost got a fumble there, and it looks like he is able to hold on to the football. Shout out. So they were definitely grabbing it at that time. But you've still got Prescott tied with Herbert right now for MVP. I mean, Herbert's been pretty good, make no mistake, but the Chargers just continue to get more and more depleted, where it feels like the Cowboys are still kind of, they're just the same team, chat. Injuries or not, I don't even know if that's a good thing or bad. Maybe it does, again, continue to help the Prescott case in that way. But Stafford, he's not playing this week. We got to not necessarily count him out because of that. And Baker has fallen off a little bit. I guess Drake May's up to third, chat. Daniel Jones 14-1. I mean, from a win standpoint, it's not like the Patriots aren't looking like they wouldn't be a really good wins team this year. But for him to actually win the MVP does seem a little crazy. Like, Drake May year one, again, he's been really good. Like, the stats have been, as good for a young quarterback as they have been for just a quarterback in the league in general. And he's checking every box that all of these other young guys, Mahomes back in the day and Allen, all these different stuff. Like, he's showing to be every bit as good and projectively impactful as all of those guys. But regardless, for him to still have emerged as a potential winner of the MVP in his second year, again, I get you have to do a ranking at some point, and he could fall pretty high on the list. But still, if I'm going to bet on a guy to win it, I want to think he could actually win it. And same with the guy being third. So, shout out. There is still like one more level, I think, for Drake May, maybe two, just for this year, for him to, again, actually win the MVP. But, I mean, Daniel Jones has been in the league for a while. Like, I feel like that even just lends itself to just you're a veteran. It's like, okay, is there like a veteran IQ thing that we could assign to him as well, too? It's like, well, Daniel Jones has been around for a while. I don't know if we necessarily would have considered him a high IQ quarterback before this year, but again, I feel like it'd be a little bit more likely for Daniel Jones to win the MVP with a good regular season record compared to Drake May with a good regular season record. Again, just this year specifically. But, obviously Drake May way ahead in the odds at this point. And Prescott's going to need a much better, obviously second half here for him to get in the mix. And Bo Nix, nowhere to be seen, chat. 150-1. He's got worse odds than a receiver and a running back. And Puka Nacua. And Lamar Jackson, who's not even playing right now, has better MVP odds than Bo Nix. So he's not necessarily too far down. Again, the Broncos just being a good record team. He is, I guess, one of the 15, 20 names that you do have to mention at some point. But regardless, there are some interesting names ahead of him at this point, just for, again, Lamar, he can't win the MVP this year. Especially after that game, as after not playing as well too today. And I guess, did we have to double check here? Did they end up getting the win? I think they may have. Yeah, against Chicago, which is a tough one for Chicago. Because make no mistake, Chicago did not have their backup quarterback in there. But was this the first full game that Huntley has played as well too? Because I feel like, I mean, again, we're delusional Huntley fans. So, yeah, Chet, 17 for 22, 186 and a tutty. He's going to be efficient. And, well, I guess he was today. And if Derrick Henry is giving you a little something on the ground, 21 for 71 is not crazy, but 2 touchdowns. You do have a Caleb Williams interception in there. And I'm sure just in general, the Bears helping out the Ravens. Adunze, 7 for 114. And DJ Moore, 4 for 173. I was rewatching the Thunder Hawks game before the games today from last night. And I thought DJ Moore I looked up at one point, was like, is that DJ Moore on the OKC? It's like, oh, wait a second. No, I think he's still on the Bears. He didn't get traded. Sam Presti didn't trade for DJ Moore quite yet. That's when he really starts thinking next level at this point. It's like, well, our team's so good at basketball. What if we bring in athletes from other sports to try to see if, how they impact these lineups? Like, what if Sam Presti just brings in like Myles Garrett? What if Myles Garrett's like, you're never going to win a title in the NFL. I guess you can, but you're not going to win one in Cleveland. Cleveland's not going to trade you at this point. You ton of money under that contract, so maybe you still want to be there as well too if you want to play football. But we'll sign you to a good deal for OKC, and you can play, 12 minutes a game and be Isaiah Hartenstein's backup. Or maybe this is after Hartenstein leaves at this point, and maybe it wouldn't be Myles Garrett as well too that time. Maybe it would be, whoever the next maybe it'd be Ruben Bain. I don't know. Maybe Ruben Bain Sam Presti just drafts Ruben Bain and makes him his power forward next to Chet. Ruben Bain, Jalen Williams, J-Dub as your backcourt, and then Shea and Case and Wallace, or as your front court, Shea and Case and Wallace as your backcourt. I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting, chat. You'll have to let us know what you think. But Denver is up 27-10. Hey, yo, chat. So, the dominance here is impressive to see in the first half. Definitely the best Denver game of the season because it's not necessarily waiting till the fourth quarter or, kind of a stumble your way through the first three quarters. Like, even the Philly game a little bit where, just kind of a tough game all the way around. This is obviously, the most consistent performance. So, shout out to that Cowboys defense for continuing to make other fan bases feel good about their team. You need a couple of those teams in the league. Broncos fans can kind of puff their chests out this week a little bit and be like, yeah, 30 points first half. It's like, oh, wait a second. That's right. Cowboys defense is PU. We can smell it from here. But, we'll see if it's a little reverse Uno card here for Broncos. Maybe the fourth quarter will be the time that they fall apart. As unfortunate as that may be. But, hey, yo, chat, let's take a quick break. That game's about to hit at halftime. We've got Colts, Titans at halftime. Bucks, second half. I guess maybe the Saints will try to get into their second halftime here for a break. We'll have to see. The score's not too bad, though. But when we get back, chat, hey, yo, we got second half action here. We've got other games that happen in the late window. We've got NBA that we're still trying to follow along with. So, it's fun hanging out. Week 8, NFL chat. Having a good time. The Urban Sam Pod. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, chat. We were trying to see if we could get a multi-view for the NBA because we make the mistake. We're about to turn the corner here in the new hour with a bunch of these start times firing up, and we got some good matchups here. So again, shout out this NFL late window. But as some of these teams start to take a comfortable lead, I guess it is really the 3 games. So Bucks, Colts, and Broncos. And shout out again, Broncos Cowboys was the potential drama, excitement, play on the field, kind of all those things matching up for maybe best game of the day slot. But again, the Broncos have been impressive enough here to start to make this a comfortable situation. So third quarter, fourth quarter, we'll hopefully not actually have drama in this game now that the Broncos have the lead like this. But it maybe is a good time to say, hey, if we focus on the NBA a little bit more in the background, it's not going to be too bad. But yeah, Milwaukee versus Cleveland, New York versus Miami, Charlotte versus Washington. Make no mistake, chat, we're locked in. We're locked in. That's 3 for 3 for games we want to watch right there. Hey, I honestly can't decide. I mean, Boston's keeping this close enough to where we're going to have to watch this fourth quarter here. It's a 7-point game. But I can't decide what we're going to watch first, Milwaukee, Cleveland, or Charlotte, Washington. The problem is, well, no, Milwaukee, Cleveland's going to be a good game. I guess Milwaukee's got the better record at 1-1 or 2-0. Hey, Cleveland 1-1. Not the start they had last year. Remember the good times? But the Washington Charlotte game is just going to be fun to watch. Charlotte the other night, I guess, was it last night against Philly? It was, where they had a crazy, just fun game, offensive game. Of course, Philly is looking like a fun team as well too, and we were wondering if they would be a decent team. I still don't know if that's necessarily the case, but they are going to be super fun to watch this year. And Maxey and Edgecombe are definitely a combo to build around for sure. And McCain is, again, a really good 3-man, just 3 players to have on a roster in terms of if you have to restart as well too. And think, we have to reset from whatever this veterans path we were going with, Embiid and Paul George. Those are 3 guys that you want to have, but also can play with those guys as well too. So it's like, okay, I guess if those guys are playing well, then it's not necessarily a win-win for Philly, but it is also a win-win for Philly. Because again, the expectations have been reset for them this year to where we're not considering them a title team. So I don't know with whatever the best version of George and Embiid, if there is a title team in there with those 5 guys. But, again, if those guys are playing well, then they're going to be better than we thought. And if they're not playing well and they have to commit to the young guys, and like we've seen, like we know Maxey is fun. So that's not even a projectable. That's not even like, Maxey might be entertaining to watch. Like, no, we know Maxey is super fun when he gets opportunity and he can score a bunch of points and can go toe-to-toe with any of these guys on a given night. And, maybe we didn't know Edgecombe was going to be this crazy good. But, McCain has also got some good upside as well, too. So, again, it does seem like for some reason, again, on the outside looking in, more good scenarios for Philly this year. Because, again, the bad scenarios, disaster year, we're back to tanking, like, bring Sam Hinkie back because we're going to be winning the same amount of games, trade Embiid and Paul George. But, again, so worst case scenarios, now all of a sudden we're, a couple months from now, we're like, wait a second, Dumbasta's going to be playing with Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe? Like, Edgecombe? Hey, we're going to be careful how we say that name. But, as much as we love Castle and Dylan Harper, Dylan Harper and Sohan, all the guys on the core there for San Antonio, like, Tyrese Maxey is more proven than all those guys as a lead scorer at this point. He's been in the league more years, but he has achieved more as well too with his time. And again, Edgecombe going toe-to-toe with those guys is predictable talent starting off his career great as well too. So it's like, okay, they're either going to be a great young core for a guy to play with at the top of the draft pause, or they're going to have these stars that are like, they actually do have a little bit left. And, now all of a sudden they're roping a team into a trade or something. Or, again, the last couple of years Embiid on that franchise are going to be fun. Because the Embiid thing is not ideal with the contract. But to be honest, like, the worst type of contracts to have are the what do we do after this contract. And there could be a little bit of a case with that with Embiid, but I do also think it's clear as well too. Again, with all due respect, like Embiid's made a lot of money in the league this year, in the league in his career. So I feel like if we maybe give out personal projections, I wouldn't feel bad about taking away a couple bucks, but I feel like it would not necessarily be a difficult call on what level of contract you could give him. Again, if another team is going to commit in a major way, and you're like, the Embiid time in Philly was great, he's a legend, jersey in the rafters, the process, iconic in some ways, I guess however you want to, iconic doesn't always necessarily mean good. I guess it kind of does, but, still like an iconic sports thing, and still, was a great player as well too. But if it's going to go somewhere else, then so be it. But, again, I think there is some silver lining there with, okay, we've already kind of made peace with the fact that it could go really, really bad. So I guess now at this point in the timeline, we know that we know that this contract, it is what it is, and it's going to probably be the end of Embiid as a major money player in the league like that, again, in Philly, I would assume. So who knows? Maybe Daryl's like, no, actually, Embiid for, 22% of the salary on the next contract is going to be okay. I don't even want to throw out numbers now because I don't even know, Embiid makes $25 million a year on the next salary. It might actually be like not that much. Who knows? But I was listening to some clip about, it was Shannon Sharp, but I don't remember if it was recently or from a year ago. But it was about, he was talking about Tatum potentially making like $1 billion just from his contracts in the league. It's like, oh man, he's not wrong. Like, some of these guys are halfway there already with the dollar totals, and if the good ones are actually able to, collect on most of those years, then yeah, especially in a couple of draft classes, like Cooper Flag's not so far away from 2 to 3 contracts. He's making $1 billion if he's a max level player, Dylan Harper, all those guys. So, and those ones as well too, because you do have the initial couple of years of, yes, the rookie salary is favorable to the team, but again, it's not like he's making $10 million his entire rookie salary. So at least he's added to the $1 billion total a little bit. Hey, yo, he started counting. Oh, chat, 3rd and 2, and Rattler's got the earpiece in. Oh, you can feel it in the air, chat. Pause. You knew it was about time. About that. It's about that time of the year. Quarterback changes are going to be happening. I don't know if Kellen Moore is necessarily in a I need to save my job territory, because, again, I feel like there was not much expectations. But it says, oh, wait a second. Is that Taysom Hill? That wasn't Taysom Hill. Why is the closed caption saying Taysom Hill? What's going on? I don't know. I'm pretty sure that was Slaw. But, hey, yo, either way, I guess Taysom Hill at quarterback for the rest of the game just to mix up the offense. But they're showing Tua right now, chat, on the red zone. Is this the Lowe's you've earned your performance or whatever it's called? I don't know if we're allowed to say. They're not. Lowe's is not, telling us to say it. But, hey, yo, just, I guess Tua being honored as like a player of the day. I mean, shout out, but not something that we would have thought a week ago. And, of course, probably speaks more to Atlanta, who I don't know if this confirms who they are. I mean, it confirms kind of, I think, what side of the league that they fall on. They're probably more of a bottom tier of the league team, but they are still a little confusing, and them losing this at home as well too is tough because they win this 4-4, or they would be, I guess, 4-3, and they'd be 3-1 at home, so that you could go, okay, at least they have a little bit of an identity there, where in Atlanta they're a tough place. Taylor scooting up the sideline, he's gone, chat. I think he stays in bounds. Oh, this is going to be good for the yardage total. Again, he needs a couple. Again, get that yardage total up over 100 yards per game. Okay, quick pivot, chat. Sorry, Tua. We got to figure out, because we don't actually need that as a storyline where people are like, oh, well, Jonathan Taylor had the worst league rushing year of all time. It's like, well, okay, it can't be of all time, but of recent history or whatever. So let's double check. What is the lowest year leader rushing total that we've had recently? Who are we going to call out today, chat? Hey, yo, is it actually going to be Taylor the last time he led the league in rushing? Probably not. Is this a Sterling Sharp situation? Hey, yo. Again, just calling out the stats there. Rushing attempts, here we go. Rushing yards per game, year by year. When was the last time we had somebody, again, the leader of the league being under 100 yards a game? So nobody, I guess, in the league over the course of a whole season averaging 100. Okay, so Kyron, thank goodness, chat. Ayo, a couple, I guess Jacobs as well, too. But Jacobs was having, obviously, a really great receiving year on top of that. So I think he ended up having like 2,000 yards total. Okay, so it does happen. It has happened a little bit more recently. Obviously, the high end Derrick Henry years, and I think maybe one of these years is maybe it was actually 2021, but 2020, like the Derrick Henry year where he got hurt as well too. So again, I guess you do have guys. Is there somebody in the league right now that has played 3 games and is at 100 yards a game? Maybe, but again, Taylor has also been near the best running back in the league. So we had a pretty good run in the 2010s of guys getting 100 yards a game. Peterson, though, 2015, 92 yards a game. Getting pretty low here, Chet. Let's see. OJ, 143, 2,000 yards in 14 games. Obviously, crazy stat stuff there. Jim Brown, Walter Payton, Eric Dickerson, Adrian Peterson. OJ again, Chet? Hey, yo. Are we making the case here? I don't know. But if we can scroll to the bottom, let's see. Oh, we got some 70s, some 80s in here. Okay. So, Steve Van Buren, 1945, 83 yards a game. I don't know if there's some outside factors that maybe we can, let that slide a little bit. Cookie Gilchrist, 70 yards a game in 64. Okay, 1960, 62 yards a game. That's not too far away from the Super Bowl era there. 68 is the Super Bowl era. So 73 yards a game in the Super Bowl era is pretty low. 65 here, 80. 1970, Larry Brown for Washington, 86 yards a game is pretty low. Oh, and then it probably would be. So Peterson in 20, it's actually Adrian Peterson in 2015, 92 yards a game. So Peterson, again, also has the incredible season where he almost broke the rushing record. We know that he's one of the best to ever do it. Pause. But Kyron as well, too, 95. So maybe Kyron takes the belt, chat. Maybe, and with all due respect to Kyron Williams, he's having a good year again this year. Marion Butts, 1990, chat. How do we miss this? Hey, yo, it's a good thing they said something. Marion Butts, 87 and a half yards for San Diego in 1990. So I think it might be him. Modern era, if we go, with all, get Larry Brown out of the mix here, because 70 is close. I feel like if we said from a stats point 1970, again, we do obviously include a lot of great running backs at the top of the list there by getting the 70s into the mix. I guess, OJ we include, but also Walter Payton and Eric Dickerson as well, too. Literally just both OJ seasons. Jim Brown is in the 60s, so we may have to include the 60s to get him there. But again, if we're going for the other way around, if we went since 1970, I think it would make sense, but also, 1990 as well, too, just to be even more modern. And I guess that'd be just the end season on that. So Marion, but either way, I guess, we're overcomplicating it. Marion Butts, 87 and a half yards. Shout out as well, too. So wait, let's take a look at the Marion Butts career here and see what we had. 2 Pro Bowls for our guy Marion Butts. Hey, college, Northeast Oklahoma A&M, and then transferred to Florida State as well after that. So, I'm sure the notoriety definitely raised at Florida State for sure. 44% success. What do we got? Yards per game for his career. 50 yards a game for the career. So, good consistent running back for a majority of it. A good running back for San Diego there. Was he on the team that made the Super Bowl? Was that 92? Only 2 playoff games. Okay, so no, he wasn't on in that playoff run. But second team All-Pro that year. I guess you have to be if you lead the league in rushing to some degree. 1,300 all total yards as well. Oh, Emmitt Smith's rookie year. Hey, yo. And you still have Barry Sanders as well, too. I guess Barry Sanders led in total yards. So, he was even, I guess, a little bit lower in yards per game if the other guy was leading in that category. Here, let's see. Did we just go like 1990 rushing leaders and see what happened this year? That might be the best way to go about it. Warren Moon, shout out, 4,700 yards passing that year, getting the passing title. Is this the Warren Moon should have been MVP this year? Oh, Thurman Thomas, first team All-Pro as well. But yeah, he's, I think, kind of he was a dual threat guy. We don't think that. He definitely was. But, oh, Chad, what happened to the red zone? Hey, yo. we had the red zone on mute, so I guess that was, shout out. It's like, wait, where'd Scott Hansen go? But I guess looking up, all of a sudden realized, wait a second, no more red zone in the background. So let's get that fired up here real quick. But yeah, Barry Sanders was at 81 yards a game. So yeah, 16 games played, only 13 starts for our guy Marion Butts. So obviously, if he had more time, would have also gotten a rushing title there as well too. 13 touchdowns though for Barry Sanders and more first downs. But Marion Butts more carries in 14 games. So he was definitely getting the attempts. Hey, he had the opportunity to pass him as well too. Thurman Thomas, 81.1 yards per game. Just barely right behind Sanders there. Pause. And Ernest Biner, Chad. Hey, yo. Shout out. Unfortunately, not known for the impressive rushing stats. It is what it is. Bobby Humphrey, 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns, just hanging around there. And Bo Jackson. Hey, yo, Chad. This would have been at a different point in Bo Jackson's career post-injury. Or maybe early Bo Jackson. I don't remember exactly. I think he was more 80s, though, because he was at college in the 80s. So, yeah, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. Hey, yo, chat. Had all 3 of the years that he played, I guess 3 out of the 4, he did play 10 games in 88, but 3 out of the 4 years that he played, he had a run over 88 yards, 91, 92, and 88, and each the longest pause for that year. Hey, yo, chat, if you said Bo Jackson had the longest rush every year, I don't think you'd be necessarily surprised. But, yeah, of course, shout out. Legendary talent. Definitely a case. You can't forget about Bo Jackson when we talk about that, like, all-time perfect lineup. And if you start going some of the injury what-if stuff as well, too, that definitely opens up a whole nother case of stuff. But, again, he did get a Pro Bowl as well, too. So even if there is a limiting factor there, he did prove his talent to some degree, legitimately on the NFL field. And we just, like, eye test watching it. I think he was every bit as good of an athlete in the NFL as he was in college, for sure. There are those first couple of years. So all-time team-wise, he's definitely an interesting guy to keep in mind. It's like, hey, could you get Bo Jackson later in the, the all-time team-building draft and see how that plays out. Hey, yo, Chad, our perfect lineup, Mike Vick, Bo Jackson. It's really, we're really snagging some value later. We're building through the trenches early on, but when we draft like Reggie White first and then, get Mike Vick and Bo Jackson later, you're going to be like, oh yeah, this team is actually pretty scary. The receivers, a lot of the offensive guys, I feel like, we can play the board smart there and see how it plays out. Luka Garza with the help side block on Cade Cunningham. Unfortunately, Asar Thompson, the athleticism there for Detroit, they're able to get the offensive rebound and one opportunity. But, good help defense from Garza. You love to see just defensive moments as well, too. Pickens down the sideline with a good catch. So Dallas with the early possession here is good for, them getting back in the game. They can at least make it a 10-possession game here if they are able to convert this 1st and goal into a touchdown early in the 3rd quarter. Now you're back in the mix a little bit. Jaylen Brown drives. Oh, he's not able to get it to go. Offensive rebound. Passes back out. Pritchard's also not afraid to take a shot. Celtics down 7. 2 minutes left. Pritchard making Celtics down 5. Like we said, Pritchard fading away in the middle. Oh, Chad, they got Pritchard 10 rebounds in this one. So again, this Detroit team is not necessarily an easy rebounding team with the size of athleticism that they have. Even Cade as well can get in the mix and get some of those stats too. But Pritchard, he'll compete. He's competing against Tobias Harris in the post right now. He holds up. Chat. Okay, they get the open Cade 3. Cade not able to get the convert, but oh man, Asar right now, chat, killing him on the offensive glass. I don't know if that one specifically was a crazy offensive rebound. Maybe he was left a little bit unguarded there, but regardless, they're at 17 for the game. A Hauser 3-pointer. Oh, the Celtics won't go away, chat. Hey, yo, a 4-point game, 90 seconds left. But, yeah, offensive rebounds are what is a little bit of the deciding factor so far. Is that going to be on Cade, offensive foul? I think they're going to get Derek White there, but the contact was definitely going both ways a little bit. So, Detroit avoiding the break there, and I think Cade might get free throws out of that. So that's definitely, a fortunate turn of event. Is that a little bit of a star call from Cade? I mean, again, it could maybe tiebreaker goes to the offensive player, but I think that could be the quote unquote star guy getting the favor there. Hey, maybe a little recognition for Cade. So Missoula does challenge, late in the game. That is a good challenge. And again, the ability to go 2 scores, make it 1 score versus now they can make it 3. You have to go back and cut it down to 2 is an important moment here. 90 seconds left. So good challenge by Missoula, even if it is at risk of using their last time out as well. Colts up 24-7. We can breathe a little bit after, even more after that Taylor touchdown. What are they reviewing for Taylor here, chat? Hopefully Taylor's not limping around as well, too. Up a couple scores like this against Tennessee, maybe it's time to start thinking about. Maybe if Anthony Richardson is returning in 2025, maybe a couple more drives, but maybe it's time to start seeing what goes on there. So Javonte Williams, once again, chat, 1st and goal. The tough push. Can he get his 2nd touchdown of the day? Speaking of fantasy MVPs, so maybe Javonte Williams sneaky moves into the running back spot for Skatteboohoo for fantasy MVPs, because he's another one that was getting drafted way later and has been finding the end zone a lot as well too, even if he hasn't necessarily again been a crazy yardage guy this year, but I think he's been up there as well too. I know we checked his stats earlier, but here, let's go back and double check. He was 80 some yards per game. So he was Marion Butts level production, chat. Hey, 84.6. And he's at 6 touchdowns right now. Yeah, through 7 starts. So Rico Dowdle has been another one off the waiver wire for just talking running backs. And Buka streaking down those. Oh, the seam, chat. Hey, not able to get it to go. I think our fantasy team's doing okay today, and I think the team that we're playing against maybe a little sleeping on their lineup. I mean, we were definitely sleeping on our lineup as well too, but it was a fortunate. It worked out for us. If you sleep on it 3 weeks in a row and it doesn't work out, apparently the 4th week it will. We left Vidal in the lineup Thursday night, and then checked it at halftime of the game. Was he's already got 13 points. It's actually okay for a flex production. I think he ended up with 25. So we're okay, that ended up being a good play there. So we're probably. With Josh, imagine Josh Allen back, he's going to be okay. Taylor, probably just getting a good week out of one flex guy might be enough, honestly. But there's Javonte Williams, now up to 8 touchdowns on the year, continuing to pile on. So, yeah, they can make it a 10-point game here and put a little bit of pressure on the Broncos offense to continue to string together some drives. But I guess, was there anything else in 1990 that we needed to check out? Probably, chat. I don't know, probably a couple other things from that year we could Google. But in terms of the rushing stats, I think Derek Ferner led in touchdowns. Cleveland Gary for the Rams, 14 touchdowns, 800 yards. Not able to get a Pro Bowl nod there. I guess Neil Anderson getting Pro Bowl. Emmitt Smith as well, too, as a rookie. 937 yards, 11 touchdowns. In 15 games, and he was a highly drafted guy. I mean, it's not like Emmitt Smith, again, Pro Bowl Rookie of the Year. It's not like he was underproducing as the 17th overall pick in the draft. Dallas offensive line as well too. We know what that would become with him there on that team. But yeah, at least in terms of the overall number, still not his craziest year. And then goes to 97. And then 107 per game, 106, 98, 110 per game in 1995. Obviously, rush stats-wise, the best to ever do it there. And, leads in first downs as well, too. So, it's not as good as that offensive line was. It's not obviously, he wasn't important to that run game and their success there on that team. Hot take. Just remember, I guess Emmitt Smith was pretty good. Christian Okoye, a fun time for running backs, chat. 1990. Herschel Walker post-trade on Minnesota, just hanging out with 770 yards and 5 touchdowns. Lorenzo White. Oh, Eric Dickerson as well, just still in the league. Names, we mentioned Bo Jackson as well, too. So, yeah, just a lot of guys hanging around, chat. 1990. fun, but a little low on the stats that year, I guess, in terms of the per game standing. That in 2015. And then this is not, again, way down there, but getting a little bit lower on the list as well. Jones deep to Pierce. Oh, and Pierce gets the one-on-one catch. He's automatic, chat. He's automatic. I don't know necessarily how we're feeling about the idea of locking down Daniel Jones to a long-term contract. I mean, maybe it's just the safety of that as well, too. Again, we're not going to be at a spot maybe to draft a first-round guy, I guess maybe this year. Hey, yo, do we have to go back and double-check the draft, chat? Hey, yo, but I don't even know where we're at this point because, the college football season has been so crazy and the teams have been bouncing around. Some of the players have been fluctuating as well, too. Outside of Mendoza, Dante Moore's still way up there. But again, Mendoza is going to be off the board at that point. I guess we did mention Ty Simpson earlier. That's right. So we do have to continue to keep an eye on him. But with the way they're playing, he is probably just going to continue to raise his stock as well. So wait a second. Let's go back to the big board here and refresh. I feel like it's been at least a week since we've looked at this. So we need a reminder. Mateer's at 34 right now in the overall ranking. Nussmeier is at 49. And the USC quarterback, I didn't realize he was draft eligible this year, but they have him at 51. So I know a lot of people are really, there's a lot of buzz about him, and you see his stats here. I mean, he is probably third or fourth in stats. If we're just re-ranking him based on that way, he should probably be a top 25 guy. So I would, I guess, not be surprised if he was a first-round pick as well, too, but maybe he's a sneaky second-round guy that the Colts could look at. Or you're going Klubnik or like Sam Levitt later as well, too. He's a bit of a playmaker. Hoover starting to pile up the stats as well, too, at TCU. But, yeah, again, you look at the names, it is a little uninspiring at this point as well. Even though, make no mistake, the REMINGTOM pod, we will get too excited for a quarterback class going into the season, and then we'll let our expectations get tempered. I guess that is maybe the better way to do it instead of if getting surprised, I guess, is not worse. But we prefer the expectations on all the guys, I guess. Pause. I don't know. But Duren, 24 points, 17 rebounds, 2 blocks. So Duren, with that just tenacity that he plays with at the center spot, does have a real game-changing level factor where I know that, again, we do talk about Cade and Asar Thompson in terms of this team being an impact team going forward and their playoff upside, and is it definitely dependent on those two guys. But again, Duren, and I think this Celtics matchup is a good one to, see the importance of it as well too. Just his ability to dominate their front court. And again, you do have like Giannis and Karl Towns and, tough center matchups that you do have to, tough, front court matchups that you do have to go up against in the Eastern Conference. But for the most part, that can be a place to exploit. And again, it's not even Duren having to necessarily be a one-on-one creating scorer type guy there. He can, if he's just playing, like we're saying, with energy, he can impact the game. Because I'm just trying to think, even besides Towns, if Paolo is playing small ball 5 for Orlando, then just players stats-wise, that is a terrifying player as well, too. And Denver, chat, right up the field, answering the score by the Broncos with the score of their own, 33-17. Is Denver going to get to 50? Uh-oh. Flag on the play. Pass interference. Oh, is that on the offense? Oh, chat. Denver with the Troutman with the pass interference call. Is he going to take away the touchdown? Oh, chat, the block on the screen. Oh, he's beautiful screen. Hey, yo, chat, maybe Presti signs Troutman instead of Ruben Bain. Who did we say? You said Ruben Bain? Excuse me. The tight ends do have the blocking experience, as much as the defensive linemen have the athleticism maybe and the freakish ability. Like, tight ends aren't crazy like that. They are kind of crazy. Like, Tyler Warren, like, you're telling me Tyler Warren is not as athletic as some defensive lineman? Ooh, chat. That was kind of a rip by Bo Nix there. That was kind of a dime. Hey, yo, 4th and 13. I mean, a field goal is not a bad thing here, 30-17. It still keeps the Cowboys in in striking distance a little bit, but, having good drives on top of each other. Oh, yeah, Chad, he put that on the money. Hey, yo, I'm not going to say that that's Bo Nix's best throw of the year because the receiver is there, but just to see him confidently step up and hit a throw that he should make, it's just like, finally, Chad. Hey, yo, Bo Nix. What are we doing here? 42-yard field goal. This better go, Chad. That drop better not cost us 7 points, hopefully just 4. Okay, there we go. Field goal down the left side. Got it to go. 30-17. Still in a 2-score range. It's not too bad. But yeah, hey, speaking of, I guess, Duran, he does have a chance to be a standout impact guy. Again, all NBA, Western Conference, like there are, Wemby's, again, he's going to be in the conversation. Jokic, some of these other guys, of course, not necessarily giving up their spot, or other people emerging in there as well, too. But, ooh, chat, hey, wait a second. Shaw? What are we going to call him? Tyler Shaw? Maybe we call him Shaw. I don't know. Tyler Shaw? He has a pick and 7 passes, 3 for 7 and an interception. So Rattler might be back in the game next week. Hey, yo, we can't count it out. But shout out Detroit, able to close that one out. So now we have to make a call, chat. Hey, yo, we don't want to back out of the red zone. Pause. Got to switch the NBA game here. Switch over to the right TV. Though I guess, again, now that Tyler Shaw is in the game, maybe switching off the red zone wouldn't be the worst call. 4 for 8. Okay, he's trying, chat. Rattler, though, more yards. Good completion percentage. A little bit more confident. I wouldn't say Shaw has, stepped in and has been like, okay, this is my moment. I wouldn't say I've seen it in his eyes, chat. Pause. Whoa, hey, yo. But, okay, so we've got, ooh, and they're all close, chat. Whoa. We've got, if the league passes anywhere up to date, like it wasn't last time, we've got New York at 19-18 over Miami. Washington 15-16 over Charlotte, and then Milwaukee versus Cleveland is 21-21. I mean, we have to watch Milwaukee Cleveland, chat. We have to watch Giannis as much as we want to watch Washington versus Charlotte, and I'm already thinking about switching the game over there. We have to throw on Giannis and just see what's going on here and see what this Milwaukee team is up to against this Cleveland team as well, that again is trying to sort of, I know that they do have a little bit of let's wait for the playoffs and see. And no Garland tonight. Okay, no Garland, chat. Hey, yo. That's right. We got to go right back to the Charlotte game. They got everybody playing? Then it's a lock. That game is the one to watch. But, hey, yo, a long ways away from saying shout out to Tua, chat, for having a bounce back game and what is going on with Atlanta this year. And did Penix get hurt? I just saw that Cousins was playing. I was like, oh, man, we're just going to chalk it up to injury. I don't know if Penix... Oh, so he did start, so... Hey, yo, is that just a straight up benching? I mean, we saw what Cousins was like last year, so I don't know if, Penix has gotten that crazy. What happened to... Okay, they're giving him a knee injury on the report here. Kirk Cousins leads a brutal performance by the Falcons offense. Hey, yo, so if anything for the Penix believers, it was like, okay, Cousins is not going to take his job, which sounds like, okay, there's no way. There's no way. I guess 21 for 31 for 173 and no touchdowns, no picks is not necessarily a non-Penix stat line. And if you don't have the rushing game on top of that, then, is it fair to either of the quarterbacks? But still, I think this was one where it's like, Penix probably still going to be the starter there for the rest of the year. And, again, first round pick, the investment they made, they're still going to want to see what what they have in him as a quarterback going forward. But I mean, definitely Miami saving their job. I don't know if this was we're playing for Mike McDaniels in this game, but this is the type of game that, again, at least, and maybe it does get you fired as well, too, because you're like, okay, well, we see the talent on the field now. Why aren't we putting all the pieces together? But can you fire a guy after a good vibes win as well, too? And not even a close game against Atlanta, barely getting a win. Oh, I can't believe we just sweated that one out. 34-10, easy performance to a quarterback of the day with 4 touchdowns and 0 picks. Run game effective. Waddle, looking like an athlete running around again. 5 receptions for 99 yards. Probably his most impactful game in a while at this point. Though, shout out to Kyle Pitts. 9 receptions for 59. And I guess, again, not a lot of scoring from Atlanta today. But when was the last time that Kyle Pitts has led the team in receiving yards? Hey, yo, chat. I mean, maybe there's a game where, again, the offense just hasn't been producing, but Kyle Pitts, 59 yards is probably like, unfortunately for him, like a top 10 game at this point in his career. And I guess, yeah, he's had enough seasons that top 10 is a decent number at this point as well, too. Because, yeah, he's had some 100 yards. It's not like, hey, yo, it's not like Kyle Pitts hasn't had good games here. But 59, okay, we disrespect top 20 performance for Kyle Pitts. He's been right in the 50 to 70 yard range pretty consistently. I think maybe it is the lack of some of the more explosive performances that we were hoping Pause to get a little bit more often. And yo, chat, when Kyle Pitts has 80 or more yards, the Falcons are undefeated. Is Kyle Pitts like a secret MVP? Hey, yo, Kyle Pitts people. I mean, I guess I'm one of them, chat. Hey, yo, I guess are we the Lizan Al Gaib for the Kyle Pitts movement? We might be. Try to see if we could, go south and get the rest of the Kyle Pitts believers involved here. But we got every time. It's like just constantly keep saying, if they get this man the football 80 yards, they win. Forget about Bijan. Kyle Pitts is the secret to the Falcons offense here. Maybe Penix, that's the way for them to revitalize his career. So, if Kyle Pitts only had 24, if he had 20 more yards, somehow that would have resulted in 24 more points. I don't know the math on that, but according to the analytics of the Remington department, that is what we're seeing. And I guess even if we go 70 plus, they're 10-2. So, again, there is a decent correlation there to the high end performances he does. So I guess, you start going the matchups as well. You do have Tampa, Detroit in here. So it's a good mix. Yeah, I guess a lot of divisional games, but what do you expect? You play those teams a lot as well too. So we don't want to overthink it. We just want to look at the good numbers and go, yes, when Kyle Pitts is good, the Falcons are good. That makes sense because, it's not always like that as well, too, for players. It could be, obviously, the other way around. But regardless, it probably has been a second for our guy because I guess, they've had some other good performers there as well, too. He had an 88-yard game in week 5 of last year. But yeah, it has been a little tough since then. Ayo, speaking of those, 80-plus yard performances, 91 in week 8. So yeah, that is almost near a full season of football. Ayo, chat, let's see. So since that 91-yard performance, and it was a decent run for him there as well too. 88, 70, 65, 91, and 91 and 2 touchdowns against Tampa. I guess it is one of those better games. So just those 4 games, 3-1, I guess, in that stretch, but he was looking like he was on pace for a 1,300-yard year, 1,300 yards and 8.5 touchdowns. Like, that's the Kyle Pitts that we wanted to see, chat. Ayo, that's why we were drafted him in the top 5. And then, I guess, I don't know if he tweaked an ankle or something, what was going on, but just immediately after that, and you see he's been a little more consistent this year, but ayo, end of last year, definitely the worst stretch of football that he's had. And basically a full season, 15 games, so 13 starts, a little lower on the starts, but I think some of that is the production. But the 15 games, he is pacing for, or I guess he was, 468 yards and 2 touchdowns. If we gave him a couple extra games, 17 games, he would be 530 yards and 2.3 touchdowns. So again, just a little bit off from where he was there a while ago. And to be fair, again, the quarterback play has not necessarily been there I don't know if Desmond Ridder was lighting up the league, but comparatively, again, going back, their offense was moving a little bit in some of those games. 4th and 5 for Dallas. Do they have to go for it? No, they punted away. 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Okay. I don't know if they think their defense can get a stop, because make no mistake, Denver's got 30 on the board right now. There has been no evidence of that. Maybe a turnover at some point. But Indy 31-7. And then, yeah, this what are we saying? This Tampa game is spiraling as well, too. So it may be time, chat. It may be time to see if we can double up on the NBA games. It is what it is. If we can't make a call, then we just have to, I guess, go the other way and watch both. Ayo. But I guess here, we'll double check. For this year, we've got him at pacing for 800 yards and I guess still low on the touchdowns, 3 touchdowns overall for Pitts, but at least, 800 yards is a pretty productive tight end year, to be honest. Again, fantasy-wise, you need a couple of those touchdowns to really elevate you, but that's still decent offensive game. And I guess back-to-back weeks with almost 60-plus yards. It's 62 last week and then 59 this week. So wait a second. Did he also lead in the game last week against San Francisco? Again, 2 really bleak offensive performances here in 10 points back-to-back. Speaking of, hey, yo, who would have thought, like, after this week, I mean, Mike McDaniels, did he just hand off the baton for first coach fired to Raheem Morris? Because, Dolphins played well a couple weeks ago. It's like they've had a couple of weeks here where it's like, okay, there is at least, like, we can't say that they're the worst team in the league, even though Tua has had some real moments here, and then McDaniels has not helped himself in the press conferences by any means. But Mooney had 68 last week. 3 receptions, but he had 68 yards, so he would have been the leader. So, yeah, shout out to Kyle Pitts, I guess, all being said, for at least being the best on the team today in receiving. But, yeah, Raheem Morris is, I would say getting a little bit tense right now with his spot in Atlanta, even though 3-4 is not necessarily the most disastrous record on paper. Again, this Atlanta team, a couple weeks now, has been going in the wrong direction. Let's see. I guess, because what did they start off? I feel like they've been kind of back and forth in the wins all year. So it's not like they've lost necessarily like 3 or 4 in a row here. But, yeah, lost last week. And I guess 24-14, Ayo, just a random win against Buffalo. 34 against the Commanders. So it just, the last 2 weeks have been, really, I guess, standing out in our mind. And then that 0-30 loss against Carolina as well, too. Again, just a really down performance. So, New England, Indy, Carolina, those are 3 games that you wouldn't necessarily expect them to win / if they're going to bounce back. Are they looking like easy bounce back games? Maybe Carolina now with Andy Dalton in it at quarterback is looking like that a little bit more. But still, team-wise, matchup-wise, that they just took you on when you were on their home court. So, the run on 1st and 10, not really able to pick up much. Hopefully this is now we don't trust Bo Nix time of the game, actually, so let's run the ball a lot. Yeah, last 4 possessions, chat, the only time the Broncos have gotten stopped was because of the end of the half. So touchdown, field goal in the other 3. I know they do have it a little deeper in their own territory this time. So there is just, again, that sort of way that can neutralize the play calling as well, too. If the other coaches get conservative, is honestly your best bet at this point for slowing down the play calling, or slowing down the offense. But 2nd and 9, Bo Nix back to pass. Just easy underneath pass, giving up a ton of space there. Bland the corner on Sutton in coverage, and he is able to come up and make the tackle. Oh, no, he slips forward for that first down, chat. The contact, he's able to fight through it there and fall forward. Yeah, he does fall forward across the line. Shout out. So, drive alive. Not able to give yourself an opportunity to get off the field there on 3rd down is a little tough for sure. And Milwaukee looks like they might go into the 2nd quarter here with the lead. 2.3. Cleveland's going to have a play left. Jared Allen, the tip. Pause. But it's Giannis playing defense. Donovan Mitchell quite not able to get the follow to go. Kenny Atkinson wants the foul. But shout out, Doc Rivers, Milwaukee, chat. Doc Rivers, Coach of the Year potential? If Milwaukee has a good year. I mean, we were all just like, okay, well, Milwaukee can be good and Giannis could win the MVP. But, those are things that can happen. If Milwaukee is good, then Giannis can win the MVP. But could that also mean that Doc Rivers wins Coach of the Year? Again, I think maybe we would just give Giannis a lot of credit. Could Giannis win Coach of the Year? But if they're 56 and whatever, and 3rd best team in the league, it's like, oh, geez, this team in the regular season is actually putting some stuff, really competitive. Then, Dagnall winning it last year. I guess Atkinson could win it again, but if they're just worse than the win total, it'd be a weird kind of perceptionally to give it to him. So Missoula last year, if he could get this team to be, again, competitive regular season, I know that they have another loss like we watched earlier today. So, chat, early season, it could be setting up for Doc Rivers. Coach of the Year, Mitch Johnson, I guess, Spurs, if they're overachieving. Or maybe the Denver coach as well, too. But to be honest, that's not really and I don't know if that is an award storyline that we are typically focused on going into the offseason. But going into the season from the offseason, but it was just definitely not one that we were considering this year as well too. And maybe Dagnall again, if OKC is just crushing these teams or just has a really good regular season record, then he has to be an automatic bid for that spot. But winning twice in a row, there is that way you can kind of neutralize their own narrative. So Mosley for the Magic, okay, for sure. And yeah, Mitch Johnson second. And then Quinn Snyder for the Hawks, Bickerstaff for the Pistons, Mike Brown for the Knicks. Oh, the Raptors coach. Yeah, the Raptors could be... I feel like you still have to win 50 games, though, to be coach of the year. If the Raptors are 46 wins, then that's a really good season. We're like, okay, the Raptors are a little bit better than we thought. They're in the playoff mix in the East with that record, probably. But I still don't know if you quite get coach of the year nod. Clippers, Ty Lue definitely has the skill. There's definitely the value there. His talent for his odds, but Udoka for the Rockets. So it may be Spoelstra, honestly, as well too. Spoelstra at 22-1. I don't know if any of these guys have great odds at this point. Chris Finch in Minnesota, maybe. I guess our one guy with great odds. It really is Chad. I got to be honest. Doc Rivers is the same odds as Willie Green from the Pelicans. Like again, the Celtics could just be a bunch of wins based on Giannis. So. I'm saying, yes, if you're saying that, then Giannis is probably more in the MVP conversation. But at least Doc Rivers vaults over all these guys. Carlisle at 25-1 is not bad as well, too. I guess Atkinson at 100-1, you kind of have to maybe bet that a little bit. And the Kings and the Jazz, I don't know if the Kings are going to overachieve this year. Same with the Jazz, but at 100-1, maybe the odds go up a little bit. Charles Lee for the Hornets. So, yeah, Doc Rivers or who do we say at 100-1? Atkinson. Atkinson at 100-1. Doc Rivers or Spoelstra at 22-1 might be the votes at this point. But, yeah, they will be tied, I guess, second quarter firing up here. So, let's take a quick break, chat, and then we've got fourth quarter. I guess we can see if the Cowboys are able to keep up with the Broncos here, and I guess we know that Slaw's probably not going to keep up with Baker Mayfield, but we can follow the NBA action for a little bit as well too, and we still got a couple other games to mention for the early windows. So hey, yo, chat, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Okay, chat, we've made the switch. We've got 2 NBA games on in the background. Shout out to Scott Hansen, Red Zone. You know, they're carriers through the NFL season, but, you know, I guess they walked us early, chat. Not Scott Hansen, just the games. We do have Broncos, Cowboys on the phone here, just in case. You know, hopefully it's us just watching the Broncos close out this fourth quarter. Bo Nix, chat. Hopefully we still get fourth quarter Bo Nix, even though they're playing well, and it looks like we might because he started off with a dime and they're moving up the field right now. 3rd and 6, though, inside the 10, drops back. He has time. Speaking of all day, chat. Hey, yo. I mean, coverage was lax going down the field, but they're definitely not going to be able to hold up for a while there. Troy Franklin, a couple touchdowns in this game, so maybe he becomes a little bit of a waiver wire target this week. I don't know. You know, is that Cowboys defense smooth? That was honestly the reason that we left Dobbins in our fantasy lineup, was because we were like, okay, they're playing the Cowboys. He's probably going to play well. Oh, chat! It's a fantasy bounce back week. We don't even need half of these points, to be honest. Let's see. If we were at half right now, we would still not quite be winning. Oh, no, we would be winning. Yeah, chat, pretty easily. Literally half the points. So Taylor's got 60 in this league. James Cook is back as well, too. And maybe this is a perfect time to pivot into that Bills game as well, too, and just issue an apology to Bills fans for the last couple of weeks, because really the only way to explain the couple of down performances is the fact that we drafted the Bills offense to our fantasy team. We drafted Josh Allen and James Cook early on. We were in a fantasy league that did its draft in week 4. So they were awesome to the first 4 weeks, like the best QB and then the best running back in the league outside of Taylor. And what was Cook the last couple of weeks from a stats perspective here? Week 5 versus New England, 15 carries for 49 yards. Week 6 versus Atlanta, 17 carries for 87 yards. So a little bit better on the stats, but 0 receiving production as well, too, in both those games. No touchdowns. So he had a total of like 13 fantasy points in the last 2 weeks. And the Bills offense has, of course, been a little bit down. But a major bounce back against Carolina. 19 for 216 and 2 touchdowns. So hopefully he starts to trend back into that best running back in the league conversation, because he was legitimately there again through the first couple of weeks. Like, he's getting the opportunity as a lead guy in Buffalo. He is one of the main signature running backs in the league in an offense, but it seemed like he was better this year as a runner as well too. And again, you look at his high-end performances versus Taylor as well. Like, I mean, Taylor has had again obviously more consistency this year, but 216 is, I guess, in itself pretty crazy. So we'll see where Taylor is at this game, because he just now has his 3rd rushing touchdown, where he has now 3 games in a row with 3 rushing touchdowns, a first in NFL history. Shout out to getting in the record books in that way. And he is at, oh wait, is this a live update? Oh yeah, shout out to the fantasy stats for keeping this live. Of course they would. 153 on the day. So like at 165, 102, 153. He's listening to us talk about his per game yardage, chat, and he's adding to that. He's definitely going to be, you know, in that really good per game range after a 153 yard game. I imagine that'd move that up to at least like 102, 103 per game, but you know, he may even get up 107, 108. But yeah, you know, Cook has again matched his high level performances as well too this year, with his 132, 117, but now a 216 as well, being equally explosive at times. Josh Allen, whoa, excuse us, chat. Hey, yo. But 163 pass yards, three total touchdowns on the day. But that's, you know, again, after week 1 for Josh Allen, he hasn't gotten to 300 yards passing since week 1. He had almost 400 against Baltimore. You know, again, that Baltimore game looks like one of the more overrated games opponents-wise of the season, even though they were a little bit more healthy in that one, and winning as well, too, through 3 quarters. But he's only gotten to 250 yards once in the last now 6 games since then. So a little bit lower on the numbers for Allen, even if there is the rushing totals to be added onto that. And he had only 7 yards, but 2 rushing touchdowns today. But again, speaking of Taylor, I know we're kind of flip-flopping back and forth on whether or not he's having a great, but it's like, okay, the great historical season. And it was more earlier to be like, yes, a lot of people were really having fun watching Cam Skatteboohoo, and because he's, a breakout player running really tough. And again, it's not like Taylor was having this 2,000 yard pacing season. Again, he's having a great year, great game. It's against the Titans as well today too. So it's not to say that, not to make it any less impressive, but yeah, I think Carolina is again a decent team. And again, we have to respect the fact that Bryce Young was out for this game. I don't know if he's going to, is Bryce Young going to score 41 against Buffalo? Probably not. But, I don't know if Carolina's score is only 9 with him as well, too. And I do think that, again, them chasing the wild card spot does take a little bit of a dip now that Andy Dalton is in the game. But just having that run element back in a crazy way is the main thing that I think you want to see for Buffalo. 40 points, just again, getting back on track, good vibes wise for this week is important. And Shakir with a big touchdown in this one, 6 for 88 for 6 for 88 and a touchdown. So I don't even think we had him in our lineup chat, but hey, at least he was performing well. So we could have played both running backs. We should have played Harvey, honestly. Harvey with 2 touchdowns, Dobbins with all the yards. He's got 93 yards, but at least he's got 12 points. So that's not too bad as well. Ibuka, 6 points. Should have put him on the bench. We could have, I guess, flexed somebody, and then no, because we have a bunch of running backs. So, Ayo, it might have been, Shakir. Yeah, it would have been the receiver to play. 32.8 on this league. 6, like we said, for 88 and a touchdown. But McMillan, impressive rookie season continues. In another, rookie of the year sleeper, I don't know if he's having, quite the season to win the award, but he's not too far off. Where, again, Dart still a little lower on the stats. Warren definitely really emerging. But McMillan has probably been top 5 rookie this year. And Buka's not even, we keep thinking he's just not a rookie, chat. Hey, it is what it is. Shows you how impressive he has been playing this year. Let's see if we can find, where's he? Okay, here's Tyler Warren. Anyways, 33 catches. There's Ibuka. Okay, 2025 draft. We'll go in and update the stats here and see where we're at. Cam Ward, 1,300 yards, 4 touchdowns, 5 picks. Jackson Dart, 7 touchdowns, 3 picks, and 3 rushing touchdowns. So 10 total touchdowns on the year is pretty good through 6 games. Rushing wise, Judkins, 467 and 5 touchdowns. Gene 445 and 5. But yeah, Skatteboohoo, like we were saying, starting to win over hearts. And then Ibuka is 527. Warren is 439. And McMillan is 413. So I don't know what Warren has had stats-wise today. Chat! We have, I was going to say, we still have Montgomery in our lineup. No, we took him out. It is what it is. Warren, 53 yards today. So McMillan's going to probably, he's going to pass him for total yards in the season after this performance and tie him in touchdowns as well, too, unless Warren continues to add to those as well, though they are up 38-7 on the Titans. So we'll see if they're going to be concerned about continuing to give Tyler Warren any minutes. But yeah, shout out, McMillan has looked good as well too from this class, and it was a little questionable about just his perceived value of like, he was supposed to be this major number 1 receiver type guy going into the year, and then it felt like it backed off a little bit from that. And then obviously Hunter ends up being technically the number 1 receiver off the board, but a little of the two-way thing as well too, or a lot of the two-way thing into play there. So, McMillan as like the first true receiver off the board. And again, Ibuka has been pretty good this year, but it's not difficult to, it's difficult to not say that is like a bad pick or they didn't make the right pick there. Again, going back in the moment, and it's not like McMillan and the Bucks. Like if you swap those picks, I mean, again, Ibuka has been pretty good this year, but I don't know if he would necessarily be way better than McMillan on this team. And you think specifically as well, too, in some of the jump ball scenarios in the red zone and the way that they've targeted him, again, they've targeted him effectively as well, too. So, a definite benefit there. But we're definitely keeping an eye. We're pro McMillan this year. So, shout out. He continues to produce well. But yes, Buffalo definitely a big winner today. And so was Houston as well. They just needed a get back on track game. They needed Stroud to have a good performance. I know San Francisco's really depleted right now, so I don't know if this is going to be a game that's a little bit of a, hey, maybe not the most, I don't know how much stock we can put into this game. But yeah, season high, 318 yards for CJ Stroud. It was good to see him over 300 yards again. And I think he only had one interception. So I know that he was a no interceptions type guy early on. But, the efficiency has dipped a little bit. So we were good completion percentage all the way around. Good yards. Not too crazy on the turnovers. Good balance on the offense. Even without Nico Collins as well, too. You get Hutchinson stepping up in a wide receiver one role. And then the running balance continues to be okay as well, too. Woody Marks is serviceable. Obviously, the defense is what has been leading the way. But if Stroud gets back on track, this is not a formidable playoff team. Unfortunately, the AFC South, the AFC South was the division that was like, maybe if you get back on track for like the last 5 games, you can win the division. But now Indianapolis is, really going to start pulling away from a record standpoint, and that's going to be tough to catch up to. But again, in terms of the wild card, we'll see how it's looking here. But with their roster, talent-wise, they could still make real waves if they are hanging around here. So I guess we just need to focus on the AFC. At the moment, 2-4 going into this week. Still behind Cincinnati, Kansas City, Jacksonville. So that'd be an interesting AFC South flip that could potentially those teams could trend in different directions. Jacksonville could start to see a little slide back, and if Houston starts to get stuff together, if there's going to be 2 AFC South teams, maybe it does end up being Indy and Houston instead of Indy in Jacksonville. But again, Cincinnati lost today, so Houston with the win. Those teams now, we see if Houston with the win percentage flips over Cincinnati. And then the Chargers, Herbert's good enough that they could definitely still be in the playoff picture. But their roster, again, continues to get depleted. So I don't know that the Texans have been injury-free. But again, their defense, a lot of those major guys have continued to still be out there, I think, week to week. And definitely, of this Cincinnati, Houston, Cleveland, LA, Baltimore, Miami, Tennessee, New York group. Again, I don't even know if some of these teams count. Miami, Tennessee, and New York. With Miami and Tennessee, or Miami and New York, we're getting wins today. It's still okay, well, those teams aren't going to be playoff teams. With all due respect to Miami, starting to trend a little bit better. And I guess we did say earlier that their last couple of games were kind of decent. So let's double check that here and see what they actually had for their last couple. That's right, the Cleveland game, Tua was pretty bad. But yeah, the Chargers game and the Panthers game, I guess, again, there was a run here if it's at least their offense is doing something. Again, this is the type of game, 31-6 or that 38-that 33-8. So again, these are all losses. It's not like McDaniels that I guess at the end of the day is saving his job here. But like we're saying, at least it's not, okay, they're continuing to trend in this absolute disastrous performance the way they were. And again, just Tua individually playing so much better as well too really boosts that team. Oh, okay, at least again, that's what that team could be. But like we're saying, I don't know if I believe that team to turn around and be a playoff team at the end of the day. But of that group, Houston definitely would be the team that obviously you could see jumping up as well. And just at the end of the day, you would still hope that Stroud versus Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, Geno Smith, Tyler Huntley, Tua, a rookie Cam Ward, and Justin Fields, you would assume that Stroud would be a little bit better than the rest of the guys in that group there. But we'll see if their offense continues to, turn things around. If they are a team that does become a formidable team. Chat. There we go. Okay. We are back. Let's say we got some buffering here on the Wi-Fi, but we are still good to go. So, yeah, otherwise, we did mention the Skatteboohoo injury, but Philly, a performance that, again, is going to get overshadowed by the fact that they lost Skatteboohoo for the year. But, New York, of course, was one of the teams that got the win on them earlier in the year. So was this going to be a feisty game? Philly, are they going to, are they not figuring stuff out? Is this still kind of a rough patch team at this point in the season? But, almost 40 points. Good at the end of each half here in the second and fourth quarters in getting points on the board. And again, Hurts, continues to power this team in a way that we love. I know the yardage thing doesn't continue to add up, but the scoring is definitely there. Barkley, speaking of guys getting back on track, 14 for 150. A Barkley revenge game in this one. And a touchdown as well, too. 4 for 24 from receiving. I guess no A.J. Brown. And we were saying in the trade, when we were on the Trade Machine live stream a couple of weeks ago at this point, I think. But, A.J. Brown could be, obviously, not a hot take necessarily, but a lead trade target guy, not even because Philly needs to, get better or whatever, or tank or, they still have the ability to have a really good offense without A.J. Brown. They could bring a piece back, too, in the A.J. Brown deal to help them right away. But, again, his vibes have not necessarily... There's been a little bit of differing of opinions, I think, between his usage in the offense and how they want this offense to function. And Devontae Smith can still give you a lot of the skill set stuff that A.J. Brown can give you, even though A.J. Brown maybe is a little bit more intimidating as a receiver. But, yeah, this today, maybe without A.J. Brown, was like, oh, the offense, is everything clicking? Are we feeling good? Pause. Saquon, obviously getting going, like we're saying, helps with that as well. But it's like, okay, let's not forget that Philly also had a really good game. Though 4 sacks, there was a couple of plays where, yeah, obviously that New York defensive line is going to be menacing. And there was like a Brian Burns just throwing Jalen Hurts to the ground at one point where it was like, oh, again, you got to be aware of that front for New York. But yeah, still an impressive day by the Philly offense overall. And then that Drake May game for the Patriots, it did start a little tough. Yeah, it wasn't until the third quarter when they really managed to separate in the score. At halftime, it was 9-7. But, Drake May, just as we're saying, as he's, the stature is elevating at this point to where it's like, oh man, is he one of those top guys in the league? Like, that is the kind of performance where against good defenses and good playmakers, and speaking of guys wrecking games, like Myles Garrett, wrecking this game early on. He might have been 3 first sacks in the first half alone as well, too. Yeah, Drake May, 6 sacks in this game and an interception that was also in the first half. But the shake it off factor, I guess, of this game, where, again, having those negative plays and still managing to, this team really to pile some stuff up in the second half, Cleveland is going to help you out with that as well, too. But for him to continue to captain that type of game is, just, I think shows you where that confidence is at, and him not getting rattled by those couple of bad plays as well, too. And just, him always believing that he is kind of now just being one of these top quarterbacks in the league week to week. But yeah, again, there was moments obviously with the pressure and with the plays for him to get rattled and maybe have a tough performance, but no, they were able to fight through it. Mac Hollins, 7 for 89 today. Shout out Mac Hollins' revival game a little bit. And Spillane, 14 tackles, 2 for a loss. I think he had an interception in there as well, too. So this is a good, Spillane first-team All-Pro type game. But, yeah, Garrett was just incredible in this game as well, too. So save Myles Garrett, save A.J. Brown. I guess we don't need to save Spillane because the Patriots are good. But maybe the Patriots trade for one of those guys. That'd be terrifying, obviously. Definitely a old school Belichick type. Oh, wait a second. Is A.J. Brown the Randy Moss for this team, chat? I don't know. I guess do the Titans have a... I guess, wait a second. Randy Moss was from the... Where did they get Randy Moss from, chat? Hey, the Vikings at that point. Whoa! So is it going to be Jefferson? Just a Jefferson to the Patriots, chat? That'd be terrifying. Hey, yo. Diggs back to Minnesota for Jefferson and some picks. I don't even know what Minnesota would fall for in that scenario, but it could get scary. Shout out to Cleveland for pushing the lead. The diff in the game is now +9. Hey, yo, chat, we might switch the channel just to get the diff off the screen. There was a point earlier where it was tied, and they still had it up there as the diff is at 0. It's like, okay, I think we can figure that out ourselves. But, yeah, Giannis going to the free throw line here, trying to crack 50 points for the team for the half here, make it a 7-point game if he gets both these to go. But good, tough effort here by New England to end up with what ended up being, like we're saying, a dominant win on the board. Otherwise, yeah, the Thursday night game, you know, Carson Wentz, shout out. We'll see if McCarthy is back this week. That was the best game of McCarthy's season so far, was that Thursday night game for Carson Wentz. Denver, 44-17. The Denver is here performance. And like we're saying, more importantly, is this the Bo Nix is here performance? Because the Cowboys defense is definitely something you just have to put into the mix as a factor. Like, okay, we know the Cowboys defense gives up big performances, so Bo Nix kind of better have a good game here in a way, but he was definitely more accurate with his throws in this one and opportunities that were there. And it's not like these Broncos receivers aren't winning these routes before this game and games not against the Cowboys defense or jump ball scenarios. Like we're saying, we don't trust these guys to make plays as well too. Just Bo Nix needs to dial it in a little bit. And this game, he was actually making throws all 4 quarters. 29, 247, 4 touchdowns. He did have that interception early, but that as well too. Speaking of bouncing back, and speaking of Prescott fighting for MVP, the complete opposite, chat. Javonte Williams, 41 yards, 2 touchdowns, is the best offensive player today for the Cowboys. But yeah, Bo Nix, again, definitely more consistent through 3 quarters in this game than I think he has been a majority of the weeks, as you would hope. But hopefully that is just a good get back on track game. Or like, unlock a good performance, see what you're capable of, and then get that confidence to continue to do this when the opportunities are there against the other teams. And yeah, get Dobbins into the end zone, chat. Hey, yo, he's got 111 yards here, and Harvey's just sniped both of his touchdowns from him. So we invested in the Broncos run game for this reason, and we should probably have just played them both. But, we thought maybe Dobbins would actually get a couple of touchdowns for his efforts, chat. That's all. And yeah, Harvey had 40 yards on one of those runs. So the other 4 runs that he's had 3 yards, but another touchdown in there as well too. So, no disrespect. Shout out. We love his game. But we just need our guy Dobbins to, complete the stat line there with a touchdown as well. But yeah, Franklin 6 for 89 and 2 touchdowns in this game. Leads in targets with 8, and that's that Oregon connection between those two guys as well too. And Pickens, even with CeeDee Lamb back, 7 receptions, 78 yards. There was definitely a rhythm between Prescott and Pickens that started to form a little bit without CeeDee Lamb there. So the balance continuing with CeeDee Lamb back is good to see because, it's a high-powered offense as well too. Obviously, we don't really know what the timeline is for this Cowboys roster in terms of what they're building, but that is, good to have there. A scary wide receiver core as well. Blue with the fumble in this game, though, the backup running back. Definitely not what you want to see. So, yeah, chat, shout out to Washington and Charlotte here, turning into the entertaining game of the window. Is that Bridges taking it to the basket? 47-52, Washington with the lead at home. So McCollum and Middleton, this might be, again, a game where their veteran status is actually a factor. Charlotte is a pretty young team. You've got, like, Colin Sexton as, maybe one of the lead main guys there. And Miles Bridges as well, too. So we'll see what that means for these guys when you have him as a lead veteran on the team. But we like his game as well. So he definitely obviously fits with what they're trying to accomplish. And Sarr just stepped out and hit the three-pointer there as well. That looked like a smooth three-pointer, honestly. Not too bad. Sarr, you got the athleticism. Of course, the build, chat, AO pause. And then if the shot making falls with that, that becomes a really scary player. We can see where he is at here in the first half for production early on. Washington in the lead. 13 points. Oh, Chad, it's an Alexander Sarr game. 6 for 9 from the field. Ayo. 13 points. Only 2 rebounds, so he's really hanging out around the perimeter or just not rebounding. LaMelo with 23. Maybe we should have got LaMelo for scoring leader. How many did LaMelo have in that last game here? We can double check that because that game against Philly last night was pretty fun. And again, a reason that proves why they are kind of this sort of must-watch entertainment team in a way. Even though if they, we still don't necessarily know if it's going to make them a playoff team or not. But yeah, 125, 121, 2-0. Shout out to the Sixers. Embiid, MVP chat. Going to steal it from Jokic once again. Or maybe we shouldn't phrase it that way. But, gonna, I guess win it over Jokic again. So LaMelo, yeah, 27 in the last game. 8 for 18, 4 for 11. So he's another one. The per game stats, he's always been up near a league leader. He's just only ever played like 30 games in a season. So he's never even needed the rules to qualify. It's just like, well, we never really even need to have the discussion because unfortunately he's just a little bit short in the games played factor. But early on to start, if he's actually out there this year, he's going to be getting up enough shots to definitely be able to compete. Jaylen Brown, LaMelo Ball, Victor Wembanyama are your lead scorers in the NBA this year, chat. It's a new guard. It's a new time in the NBA. It'd be a fun list of names for us to see, that's for sure. Charlotte down 7 here. 25 seconds left. Sexton drives. Is that Diabate, the pump? The foul? Is he going to the free throw line? A couple of shots here. Oh, no. I think they get the turnover. The travel, chat. Hey, yo, we got it on mute, but they get him with the travel. 21.8. So Washington's going to get one last shot here to end the half. Milwaukee down 9 still. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. It's Gary Trent falling away. And Milwaukee's still down 9 with halftime underway now in Cleveland. So they're still maintaining that regular season status, winning this game with the lead, looking good. But Milwaukee hanging around there is not too bad as well, too. And if Ryan Rollins is giving you good minutes, then honestly, that's a win. At 2-0, they're due for a loss. To be honest, though, for this Milwaukee team, I mean, how many are they going to win in a row? Let's be fair. 2 for 4 for Ryan Rollins. AJ Green, though, 12 points has been the other bright spot in this game. And Rollins is, 4 assists. I was going to say, he is not necessarily a big shot maker. He is a little bit more of a do-everything type player. Pause. 6 and 4 in the first half. I mean, 12 and 8 for the game. Pretty impactful. You wouldn't be mad at that. Be a fun stat line player. Do we have the high assist, low point players in the league? I mean, we could talk about just the skill of the sort of old school traditional point guard, and that is, of course, accumulating assists in a way is part of that. But, LaMelo, the spin around one-legged 3, is that going to go? Or do they blow that play dead? Hey, yo, wait a second. What's Bub Carrington doing in this game? He was not shooting well the last time we were looking at the box scores, so I don't know if we brave it again and see what our guy is able to manage in this first half here. Okay, LaMelo, not getting that one to count. Hey, yo, it is what it is. But we've got Carrington at 0 for 3. Hey, yo, when was the last time Carrington made a bucket, chat? Are we going on multiple games here? George, who in the last game was on fire, is 2 for 4. 0 for 2 from 3 is not the ideal follow-up. But the Sarr production is honestly the thing you're probably just most crossing your fingers about. Because, again, we kind of know what Keshawn George is going to be. So, if he is that in year 2, it's like, hey, that's great. Carrington, still a little what if, but I don't know if you're holding out the same sort of upside for him. It's just like, hey, he could be a pretty good starting point guard at some point. Again, it is a little weird. Like, we don't necessarily have decent starting point guards, in a way. It's like you're either a 6-man Tyus Jones or, again, you're LaMelo Ball, Tyrese Halliburton, a different level of point guard. But could be a more middle of the road type of point guard. I guess, speaking of CJ McCollum, is he falling like a CJ McCollum? Ayo. Now it sounds like we're being disrespectful to McCollum. And who gets the 3 to go at the end of the half? Is that Sarr again? Is that a long 2? I don't even know if they're going to get that to count there. But, hey, yo, just impressive getting the jump shot to go. It is a 3. The inbound right over Diabate. Chet, the jumper looks smooth from Sarr. And these are swishes. I got to be honest, Alexander Sarr revival. We're all locked in. I mean, we wouldn't trade Sarr for Castle. Make no mistake. There was definitely a point in that draft, or in the cycle of the pre-draft process, where just by course of the names in the class, we're looking at the potential of them taking Sarr and what that potential pairing would look like. And I guess point being, I would have been obviously all in on the idea of pairing Sarr with Wembanyama. To me, that would have been super fun. But Castle is clearly the better player, and the one that does also pair better with Wembanyama as well too. So we would have missed there. Ayo, shout out to San Antonio for those guys being the smart ones running the team. But I guess, yeah, he hasn't really taken a 3. He's only 0 for 1 going into this game. So, percentage-wise, basically everything's on the board for him there. But 50% from the field, 10 for 20 through 2 games, 24 points, 16 rebounds. So that continues to be a menacing part of his game, of course. But the scoring in this one is definitely off to the best start of the season that we have seen so far for him there. And like we said, LaMelo on the other side as well too. New York, Miami, which we have not been watching at all, but is still close. Miami at home is got the lead, and they, like we were saying, with Spoelstra being a potential odds guy for Coach of the Year, they continue to be, of course, a feisty team game to game to have to compete against. But Karl Towns, 3 for 8. Brunson, 6 for 12 in this one. Anunoby, 2 for 7. Anunoby is an interesting piece this year. Ariel Hukporty is in the starting lineup. He only played 5 minutes, so they went to Josh Hart real quick there. But they're at least giving their guy Hukporty a chance. So Anunoby is an interesting one to think about trades. And who was it? I forget. Was it Simmons again? We're gonna have to. Well, I guess Russillo's doesn't have a pod right now, so we can't bring up any of his takes. But he does have a pod. He's just not on there. Shout out. We'll have to go steal an old Russillo take and bring it back up again. Maybe some old life advice point. We'll just read an email like it's ours. But I forget. I remember it was Dave Jacoby saying that I don't think he would trade Giannis. So yeah, it had to have been like a Simmons, Jacoby, Goldsberry pod or something like that, where he's like, he wouldn't trade Anunoby for LeBron straight up. And it's like, okay, I get that he's 40, but what are we doing here? 1 year. And, Anunoby 2 for 7, 2 for 6 from the 3-point line. You really start revisiting those trades, I tell you what. But again, you do also have like Hart and Yabusele as well off the bench to be those wing guys, to give you maybe even versatility for what you could look for in an Anunoby trade, or if you were able to get a couple of pieces back. So I don't know apron-wise what they're capable of here. But, hey, we were looking for a Durant trade as well, too, in Houston. Shout out to Houston, but we're trading Durant. But, does he have multiple seasons to request a trade in Houston? He might have to make sure to get that out of the way before this season's over. I don't know what his timeline here in Houston is. He's going to have to start if he's going to play for every team in the league, he's going to have to start speeding up his trade requests. He can't sort of lay out the typical, but it is, I think, speeding up as well too. I don't know if we go sort of the progression from his obviously 9 years in OKC. He didn't request a trade, but from the sign and trade in Golden State to his trade request in Brooklyn to his trade request in Phoenix to what that would make his trade request in Houston, I think it does kind of put it at a half a season trade request. Dalton connects right now. Leading the trade machine in what people are looking for. But here, let's see. New York Knicks. I guess we're going last year's standings is what we're looking at. And the LeBron one as well too, like we said, is the easy one to double check. So they do have second apron space. So they could obviously get hard capped by working their way into the second apron there. But at least in terms of making an initial trade, they are not affected by that. So yeah, Anunoby at $39 million a year. LeBron at 52. So he does have a little bit more salary to try to figure out, but that gives you, at least if you're the Lakers, a chance to get a couple of pieces back. You may have to bring a third team in if you don't want to deplete your roster too much. Like, you could definitely make this trade, it seems. McBride, maybe. And maybe also Yabusele, shout out. This is where the Mitchell Robinson thing becomes really interesting. And then, Ayton. Do you have to send Jackson Hayes back as well, too? Jackson Hayes, I think a Clutch Sports guy as well. So I don't know if Jackson Hayes becomes the new Anthony Davis. It's like, yeah, Jackson Hayes. I've always been friends with Jackson Hayes. You have to bring him along in a trade with me as well. But he's only $3 million on the salary, and at least gives you some center minutes there to replace Mitchell Robinson. So Anunoby, Robinson, and McBride for LeBron and Jackson Hayes. I mean, you could definitely talk yourself into it. This is going to be, I think, about as close as we can get from a salary standpoint. I mean, we're $800,000 off here on the trade machine. So yeah, this trade, I guess, is impossible. It is what it is. Oh, Jackson Hayes cannot be traded. He is eligible to be traded after October 6, 2025. Okay, so this is just not updated here. It is what it is. So as I'm looking at my calendar, we're 20 days past that. It is October 26th at this point. So, yeah, we could, from a salary standpoint, it looks like, unless there's been a little minor updates to the roster that would affect this, you could potentially do LeBron and Hayes for Anunoby, Robinson, and McBride. And that is an interesting trade because McBride, I don't know if you start thinking what you can do with Reeves now. If you're the Lakers, does McBride take the Austin Reeves minutes? Reset the salary there a little bit, and then you could maybe now, you do kind of what the Mavs did a couple years ago and just try to trade off your pieces into 2 and 3 players, and now all of a sudden, the PJ Washington sort of version of the team comes together. Now Anunoby is this year's PJ Washington, and Robinson is the gaffer. Like, that is kind of a version of that trade. I don't know if LeBron is, obviously a better guy. Who'd they even send out in that trade? I don't even remember. Hey, it is what it is. I mean, it just shows you how impressive it was. Maybe a first-round pick or something. But, yeah, that is not bad. And then in the LeBron New York storylines are pretty interesting at this point. I know that would separate him from Bronny. I guess there is the Bronny element as well, too. Hey, let's double-check this real quick. If adding Bronny to the trade makes it impossible, that would be a really funny what-if element. He's only $2 million a year. I know for Bronny, that may seem like a lot. Ayo, good little contract there for Bronny. You cannot lie. But it will affect the overall number. So let's see. We do fail, of course, because of the Hayes element, but it does not give us any notes about the contracts. So, chat, you can do a perfect 3-for-3 trade. Both James and Jackson Hayes, the Clutch Sports trade. James, Hayes, and Bronny for Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson, and Miles McBride. Are all these guys Clutch guys? I think Anunoby might be as well. I'm not sure. I don't know. We go pull that list back up here. But, yeah, this is at least somewhat doable here. If LeBron does want to waive his no-trade clause. And, again, I don't know. This Lakers team in the West is going to be cooked. It is what it is. I know we've made the case for LeBron and Davis in the past. But, again, LeBron's not the same level of guy. And this Knicks team, he would become a legitimate third option that they would need. And in like a good way where Towns, again, do we trust him more than LeBron in a playoff series at this point? Maybe LeBron is the second option in the trust factor or whatever. But in terms of ability to just put up shots, and can we feed you looks, and can you take over responsibilities for the team? Again, Towns can maybe do that a little bit more effectively next to Brunson and LeBron than, or with LeBron next to Brunson than, Reeves can with Luka next to LeBron. Just the triangulation of that maybe makes a little bit more sense in New York. So I am kind of starting to wonder. And again, you start to see this New York window as well, too. Like, I think you kind of got to take that swing. LeBron is a better, better player than Anunoby at his best, even at 40. So I know that there is sciatica, but again, if Anunoby is a little inconsistent this year, that makes it easier. So we would monitor this. At least there is a deal that is doable and production-wise would line up at this point. Again, do you win the McBride-Bronny part of the trade if you're the Lakers? And now all of a sudden McBride's like we're saying, Austin Reeves level. I know Austin Reeves got into kind of 20 points a game and really good conducting offensive type player, a little redundant in terms of good offensive conductor with Luke, obviously not the scorer, but if you add in the defensive struggles that he could have, it does become the weaknesses become redundant there, and that could become a little difficult to deal with from a team building standpoint. But again, from a value standpoint, maybe McBride becomes a serviceable 6-man, can be your 4th best player in certain lineups on certain, we can get what we're saying. He can be a nice part of the trade for sure. But I guess right off the top of the head, that would probably be the easiest one to think of, or if we want to try to cook up this Durant one as well too. But I don't think that improves the Rockets the same way that it improves the Lakers, where, okay, you go, I guess Mitchell Robinson, over Jackson Hayes, you still have 8 in there, I guess, or just in terms of a minute standpoint, are you gaining that much? But you do, I think, get a little bit more depth. And like we're saying, again, I don't know if McBride versus Bronny is literally like, okay, we have to trade LeBron to get McBride in this deal. But I think you do end up with a little bit more depth from this team. And, you do, of course, get the Luka all-in reset in that way. You've moved on from the LeBron Davis era of the team. I know LeBron's on a 1-year deal, right? Kind of a limited deal right now. So there is not necessarily the major commitment to him, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember any extension stuff that we have to, we could double check that. But regardless, it's not like he's on the Embiid contract per se. And again, obviously, shout out to Embiid, but LeBron still at this point has produced a little bit more. But here, let's double check Embiid's stats as well too in this last game, just because I know that, again, even I think everything has been posted has been about the other players, but we still hope our guy Embiid is like, it's not even like, is he going to score 30 a game, but is the efficiency going to be way off? Is just it going to be totally a different thing? Hopefully there is still a decent level of impact there. Oh, chat. It is what it is. 2 games into the season, there's definitely time to rebound, but oh man, 40% from the field, 12 points a game, 10 shots. We'll see what happens. 31 years old, Chad. It was a great run. Legendary. I mean, legendary run. 4, at least 3 top 3 MVP voting finishes. And then 4 times he registered MVP votes, multiple All-NBAs in here. Definitely a Hall of Fame career. Shout out. Though 4... Is that 4 All-NBAs? Okay, 5 All-NBAs and an MVP. I mean, he's a lock for a Hall of Fame. I know we could debate, what did he do in the playoffs? Doesn't matter. He's a great player. It's not the playoff Hall of Fame. It's the basketball Hall of Fame. He's a great basketball player. But still, I think we could have expected, hopefully just a few more seasons anyways, as well, too, of him being a pinnacle player as well, just because he's so much fun to watch. Even though, it's like, Embiid, is he disappointing for 30? We're not saying that. It's just... we like watching Embiid, so it's like, we didn't realize that this show was going to be over early. And that happens, chat. Not every show goes for, 12, 13 seasons. Sometimes you're like, wait a second. That got canceled early? What's going on there? So I don't know. As Embiid, we're like, we're running out of episodes here for the Embiid show. Looking like it. But again, hopefully the Sixers vibes at least trend in a different direction with the rest of the core there. But yo, Chad, do we keep just cooking up OG Anunoby trades? I don't know if that's a move. But we do have second half action of some of these NBA games we have to go watch. We do have to go watch. We want to go watch them, of course. Sunday Night Football. Are we on the precipice? Can I say that? Did I say that correctly? We're on the precipice of Sunday Night Football. So we are about to head out of here for the night, chat. Of course, we will be back a couple more times this week. As usual, we're here, of course, every Sunday during the NFL season, following along with the games in the middle of the day. We're back Tuesday nights, following along. I mean, now that it's NBA season, we could say following the NBA almost every night. But Tuesday nights, following the NBA. Friday nights, following the NBA. Sometimes there'll be something else mixed in there. You'll just have to stay tuned, of course, to see what it could be. But it'll always be here, of course, live on the YouTube. You can follow the live streams as they get posted on the podcast feeds, of course, a little bit later. And, REMINGTOM Pod, turns out you can follow it like a podcast as well too on those different platforms. And if you want to send us a message on Instagram, RemingsTonM Pod, you can send us a message over there. The DMs. Whoa, chat. Hey yo, unfortunate burp. Pause. The DMs are open over there as well. So, like I said, we will be back Tuesday night. NBA hoops is when's the next game for the World Series, chat? Hey yo, I don't even know who won Game 1. It just dawned on me who won Game 1. We were trying to watch it on the last live stream, and then didn't quite make it work. And then I guess just decided, whoa, we're not gonna watch anything or even keep up with the score at that point. But they played 2 games. Hey yo, chat. I guess they don't necessarily have like the 1-day breaks the same way that they do in basketball. So yeah, more back-to-back, pause-to-back situations. But Friday, Saturday, and then tonight off. So hey, shout out to the Blue Jays. Did they win? I guess we don't know which one. They won Saturday, 5-1. Hey, not bad. Friday night, Dodgers 11-4. Hey yo, definitely a more dominant performance. But shout out, I guess Game 3 gets interesting then, with the series tied, though, going back to LA. Dodgers plus 160, home game. I don't know anything about baseball, but that would feel like a tough game there. But yeah, shout out. I guess Tuesday there will be a World Series game on as well too. So NBA World Series, more reactions to NFL and the other NBA games. Just a lot of sports stuff. I'm sure will happen between now and then. We'll see if all the coaches stay, chat. It is what it is. Stuff happens. But hey, yo, like I said, stay tuned. We'll be back. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the Sunday night game.